Coming from behind, obviously serving that penalty, 30-second penalty for starting early, coming back, getting the win at the end, a big win for him.
Yeah.
But a small win for Walker Fowler.
Yep.
Bryson came from behind, made up the time, made the move, and Walker Fowler said after the race, not today. I'm not letting you go. I'm latching on, and they took it down literally to the final turn, wheel to wheel. So I think we're going to have some great racing here today. And, you know, there's a lot of debate on social media
Yes.
about exactly whose mountain this is. Adam McGill has a lot of fans here this weekend, but the reality of it is, when you talk wins, no one has more than Walker Fowler, so maybe a little bit extra swagger coming into this weekend, and the all-time wins record, again on the line, sitting tied with Chris Borch at 75 wins. Can he get it done and make it 76 this weekend?
Yeah, that's a very good point. And, I mean, if you want to go back even further, throw Chris Borch in there. Why not? It's Snowshoe. As a matter of fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, his last pro win was at this location in Snowshoe, maybe 2018, 2019. I'm in the ballpark, I know. So, hey, anything can happen. This is Snowshoe.
Sure, and if you're Chris Borch, maybe you do have a little chip on your shoulder, because all the talk since they tied is, when will Walker Fowler break Chris Borch's win record? The question is never, can Chris come back and grab that win and up the bar even one more? It could happen here today.
Absolutely. We got to show some love, of course, to Josh Merritt, continuing to knock off these podiums. I think it's just at this point, 9 rounds into it, Johnny, we expect to see Josh Merritt on the podium.
Absolutely. He's no longer a top 5 guy that gets podiums. He's a podium guy. 3rd in points, been on the podium nearly every round this year. But there's some more. We can't even call them dark horses. We have to call them, you know, guys that are just ready to make that breakthrough ride. Wyatt Wilkin, already several podiums this year. Good knee conditions. You can't talk about Snowshoe and not mention the Gator, Adam McGill. You know, he comes in here with a lot of confidence. Big things to make up from last year. Didn't even make it a mile.
Very much,
So, you know, he's got to redeem himself, or at some point, he's got to just give up on the idea of McGill Mountain. I'm kidding, Adam. He's got a lot of fans up here this weekend.
He's still going to party.
And he's definitely going to have a good time either way. Jared McClure always rides well here. I mean, the list goes really deep. We got a lot of talented riders. And then we go to our XC2 class.
Yeah, Alex Tiemann coming off a big win in that one, having a stellar day, and honestly a win that I think he needed.
Yeah, you know, he was having some rough races there the last few, came back, won that with a commanding win, big lead. Grayson Eller, just steady, solid, carrying that reverse plate for the points leader in XC2, and a lot of other riders looking to throw their hat in the ring this weekend in that XC2 class.
Going to be a great day of racing, of course, Howard's Hole, but there's more to this racetrack than just Howard's Hole. For that, we will throw it to Jared Bolton for a Yamaha course description.
Well, thanks, guys, and welcome back to Snowshoe Mountain. A little bit of a different look this year. You know, for years and years we've come here, and you have to contend with the rain. You have to contend with the fog. Well, look at this. There's sun so bright, it's kind of hurting my eyes a little bit. And you know what that means? It's actually pretty dry out there. You know, we've been coming here since 2007, and we've had a couple dry races here and there, but I'm not sure it's ever quite been this dry. It's the driest I've ever seen it here in the last 14 years. So, what's that going to mean? It's going to change things. The ski slopes are going to be incredibly dusty. Be a little bit fast through that dust stuff. Those guys aren't scared. They'll keep going. When you get off the side of the mountain, actually, the dirt is actually in really, really good condition. That little bit of rain that they had a couple weeks ago that hasn't shown up this week helped out a lot and actually put some moisture in the ground. But the thing about Snowshoe is, it could not rain from now until next year, and you come back next year, it's still going to be muddy. There's natural springs all underneath the mountain, so there's still a little bit of mud to contend with, but by and far, the biggest story here this year is that it's the driest snowshoe ever. Going to change the look of the course a little bit. It's still going to be hard, it's still going to be tough, but it's going to be dry. They're going to turn some faster laps than they've ever turned here, and it's going to make for some great racing. Back to you guys.
All right, Jared, thank you for that Yamaha track description. Man, we're here on Snowshoe Mountain. It's about to get underway. A little bit different start, but one thing is still the same this weekend. This guy right here, Mikey Wayne's got to head down, do some 10-second calls. We're going to get the racing action underway, and you're going to be able to follow along with all of it on Racer TV.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruise to sort you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
Every generation believes they've invented the best way. With age comes wisdom. We've come to realize that every piece of knowledge is learned, passed down from those generous and patient enough to teach.
Bogging off the bottom. Let's take a look.
Legacy. It's not about leaving something behind to be remembered by. It's realizing that the future lies within the next generation.
Let's call tonight. All right.
The nature of true progress is humbly building something bigger than yourself. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. This is our legacy.
Unleash aggression, reliability, and premium quality with Kenda tires. Delivering exceptional performance on all types of vehicles. Automotive, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, bicycles, trailers, lawn and garden, and even golf. Trust Kenda tires to guide you on your next adventure. Kenda, designed for your journey.
It takes commitment, passion, and endurance to make something great. Made by champions, for champions.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready.
We got to intro you. Fisticuffs later. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, your top 10 riders out of the XC1 Pro class rolling to the line first. The number 1 out of Bidwell, Ohio, aboard the Phoenix Racing Yamaha, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line next, the 7-2-3 out of Rogers, Ohio, aboard the WFR, GBC, Fly Racing, and B&R back to Yamaha, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line next, the number 5 out of Akron, Ohio, aboard the Action Off-Road, GBC, and B&R back to Yamaha, Josh Merritt. Rolling down the road next, the 6-2-1 out of Hillsboro, Ohio, aboard the Action Off-Road, GBC, and Hauser back Yamaha, Wyatt Wilkins. And rolling down the road next, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for West Virginia's own, the 5-2-1 on the McGill Mafia Ober and Moose Racing backed Honda, the Gator, Adam McGill. to the line next, the number 8, a rider out of Maryland aboard the B&R Motorsports Fearless and Kenda backed Yamaha, Stephen Harrell. Rolling to the line next, the number 2 out of Newfield, New York, aboard the Fly Racing and Ithaca Recreation Sports backed Yamaha, Hunter Hart. Rolling down the road next, the 703 out of Petersburg, Indiana, aboard the Action Off-Road Maxxis Fly Racing and Lone Star backed Yamaha, Austin Abney. And rolling down the road next out of Sunbury, Pennsylvania, aboard the Action Off-Road Amsoil and CB Racing backed Yamaha, Chris Borich. And last but certainly not least, the number 9 out of Casca, Pennsylvania, aboard the JMR GBC Elka and Moose Racing backed Honda, the Cobra, Jared McClure. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your top 10 out of the XC1 Pro class here at the Yamaha Racing Snowshoe GNCC. And as our riders head back to the starting line to take their positions on row number 1 and row number 2, we'll turn our attention back to our event director, Mr. Tim Cotter.
All right, folks, as we get them lined up, we're going to get these guys an opportunity to line up. These guys are on their way back to the starting line. I want to tell you about a good friend, a guy that I've worked with for over 30 years, John Knox. John Knox is our head of security, and he went to pit. Let's get in an attitude of prayer. And you folks are going to be blessed today by one of our favorite guys. This is how every race starts at every GNCC. It is my honor to present to you Mr. Ricky Towery.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, thank you. Hey, let's go to the Lord this afternoon. Let's have a word of prayer together. Heavenly Father, once again, we thank you for bringing us all together safely. Lord, you brought us to such a beautiful place. You look across these mountains right here, what you've done for us so many years ago, the things you do for us today. Each and every day, we take all the little things you do for granted. Thank you for what you do for us every day. Lord, we thank you for the Snowshoe family, for letting us use this property to have some fun on. Continue to bless that family. And our riders this afternoon, keep them safe. Let them go out there today and have a good time. All the spectators together around. Let us have a wonderful afternoon. Do continue to watch over our military men and women. Lord, it's because of them that we're right here where we're at this afternoon, because they keep us safe and they keep us free. continue to watch over them, and our local policemen, firemen, and paramedics, and all our communities throughout the United States every day, watching over us and keeping us safe. Be with them and their families. Lord, we just need everyone of us just to be thankful that we're right here having fun. We've had so much fun already today. We just ask that you'd let us have a couple more hours this afternoon. And then when we start heading down the road home, take us all home safely. So one day we're going to get back together. We're going to have some more fun like this. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
What did I tell you about Ricky Towery? Now, we are a patriotic people here in West Virginia and GNCC, so I'm going to challenge every one of you to join singing at the top of your lungs as we honor the greatest nation on the planet, the United States of America.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Light 'em up, let's go racing! Snowshoe GNCC, absolutely nothing like it in the world. As we pay tribute to the Blackwater 100, our riders are ready, the track is off now. In 10 seconds for row number 1, the XC1 Pro. Bang, and we're off. Adam McGill on the inside. Mercy sakes alive. Too close to call. I think it might have been the Gator, Hunter Hart, Stephen Harrell, Jared McClure, Chris Borich, and Austin Abney. Row number 3. Alex Seaman, Grayson Eller, Brandon Owen, John Glotta Jr., and Ronnie Rush. Row number 4, Dalton Keys, Christopher Howard, Braxton Gross, Dylan Walraven, and James Glotta. Row number 5, make some noise for the Coltrane, Cole Richardson. Row number 7, Keaton Henderson, Kenny Schick, Alex Elioff, and TW, Tanner Walker. And Tanner Walker with the early lead. Row number 8, Jeremy Ladon, Nick Royalty, and Tavin Cook, and Chance Hickey. Into the straw bales goes Jeremy Ladon. Hold, wait on the signal from Ricky Towery for row number 9. Here we go. In 10 seconds. Chase Allison in the 8:06 of Brian Wolf. XC2 Pro Class. And here we go, College A, row number 10. Andre Williams, Jeremiah Wolf, Talon Stout, and Jordan Berg. 7-11 on cue, Jordan Berg. Row number 11, Parker Henderson, Caden Lambruno, Nick Daring, Harrison Lindsay, and Dayton Hickey. Row number 12, Evan Osborne and Dylan Trigg. Row number 13, Jackson McVie and Logan Steele. There we go, 7-1-6. That's Logan Steele with the early lead. Row 14, Junior A. Corey Vandelinder, David Machisco, Connor Brandt, Zach Knight, and Christopher Kirby. Row number 15, Colton Kushta, Cody Forrester, and Josh DeNoble. Row number 16 now, Trevor Furby, Brady Myers, Brody Livengood, and Lane Felder. That's going to go to the 2-1-4. Trevor Furby. Junior A 19 plus coming at you. Ryan Hendershot, Briggs Lazelle, Dominic Stevens, Wesley Wirtz, and Logan Bishop. One rider down. Slow to get up, trying to get the bike turned over. And our rider says, give me a minute. Wait on the signal from Ricky Towery. There you go. There you go. Make some noise for the man. That is one bad mother. Shut your mouth. That's just Lazelle, baby. 3-3-3, you got it, baby. Wait on the signal from Ricky Towery. Trying to get her fired up. Let's go, Briggs Lazelle trying to get her fired back up. Row number 18 coming up next. We're pushing uphill. Wait on the signal from Ricky Towery. Now he's fired up and we're ready to roll. And here we go, 10 seconds. Travis Indrell, Logan Weiser, David Witt, and Nicholas Heck. Oh, the 358. He put a little hot tui on it, but he's able to maintain. Row number 19, Taylor Griffith, Henry Moore, Nick Davidson, Tom Coons, and Justin Miller. Row number 20, Torrin Johnson, Justin Willis. That is your Vet A, 28 plus. Last two riders in that one, we reset. Senior A, 40 plus, Dirk Caserci, Papa P, Jeff Pickens, Chris Conklin, and Derek Hart. 9-1-8, Derek Hart grabbing the early lead. Road number 22, the Marlboro Man, Todd Muscala, and Michael Hayes. Row number 23, Brian Brokart, Trace Furby, and DJ Marlowe. Zachary Phillips out there and Josh Schrainer. 24, Cameron Mahalan, Triple Exo, Noah DeCerci, and Evan Ruckel. College B, Isaac Hart, Austin Kiger, Austin Miller, Jackson Carroll, and Landon Kosler. Row number 26, Landon Ostrich, Racer Chanel, Quentin Gauker, and Reeston Richard. Woo! Getting into the straw bales. It's all right. He's rolling. Row 27, James Berger, Andrew Adams, and Luke McMillan. Row 28, Michael Worth, Corey Zach, Denton White, Adam Safel, and Easton Snyder. 7-1-2 leading it. Row number 29, Jack Neely, Austin Newsom, Zachary DeNoble, Ian Burns, and Brandon Cutliff. Row number 30 now, Junior B 19 plus, Corey Teeter, Bob Duker, Gavin Temple, and is that hot dog Joey Stewart? It might be. Row 31, 917 leading it. That's Colin Dunn out of the Junior B, Vet B 28 plus. Row number 33, Belford Spurgeon, Eric Murphy, Zach Buckwell, and John Higgins. Row number 34, Vet B 28 plus, Justin Mulholland, Christopher Strebbing, and Clint Watson. Here we go, row number 35, Jason Whitley, Frederick Harder, and Jack Stevenson. Jack Stevenson with the early lead there. Row number 36, Ricky Lewis, Ben Dunlap, Bobby McCauley, Forrest Cross, and Aaron Delancey. Row number 37 off Senior B, 40+, Ross Cox, Joe Dehart, and Steve Kiggins. Row number 38, here we go, Shane Worth, Bruce Miller, and Lyle Morrison. Bang, they're all off. And there goes track sweep. And that'll do it for a start here at the Yamaha Racing Snowshoe GNCC. We're going to take a short break, get in a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back right after that. Welcome to Almost Heaven, West by God, Virginia.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yeah, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
Every generation believes they've invented the best way. With age comes wisdom. We've come to realize that every piece of knowledge is learned, passed down from those generous and patient enough to teach.
Bogging off the bottom. Let's take a look.
Legacy. It's not about leaving something behind to be remembered by. It's realizing that the future lies within the next generation.
Let's call tonight. All right.
The nature of true progress is humbly building something bigger than yourself. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. This is our legacy.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized e-turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready.
Hello, everyone out there on Racer TV. Welcome back to the legendary Yamaha Racing Snowshoe GNCC. We are here for round number 9 of the 2024 Progressive Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Specialized. My name is Jackson Burrow, and I'm alongside Zach Heron and Johnny G to bring you today's action. At this time, we will go ahead and turn things over to Zach to show you how we got things started.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, we're going to take a look at how things got started. But what I'm seeing right now is how things are going down at Howard's Hole. You could see, I believe that was Ronnie Rush that was absolutely at a standstill. Looks like he was recruiting some of those mud fleas to help him get out of the mud pile. We've seen a lot of dust flying here today, Jackson, but definitely down there at Howard's Hole, the moisture found its way down there, but finding his way to the front of the pack. Look at this. The Gator sneaks his way to the inside. He's in an all-out drag race with Walker Fowler. They've been going back and forth on social media. We'll see who got the best of the first 2 turns. We'll see how that shakes up through the rest of the race. So technically, it was Adam McGill grabbing the whole shot for that first row. I believe that was Rush that grabbed the lead for the second row. Obviously, a little different starting technique out here than some of our other GNCC events. A live engine start. There you can see the XC2 class taking off as well. And on the top of your screen, you can see some of that dust we've been talking about as well. Riders going to get the best of both worlds, Hannah Montana style. A little bit of dust, a little bit of mud, but 100% great racing out here at Snowshoe. You can see we've got a huge crowd on hand. Everybody excited to see exactly how things are going to shake out. What a great look there from the Specialized Start recap. And so that's how things have gotten kicked off. Now we're down here at Howard's Hole. If you guys didn't know, it's been freed, all right? It was official. The AM quads did go through it. Jackson, I know you got to talk to some of them up on the podium, but there we see McGill and the McGill Mafia picking his way through. It looks like he is still out front. Looked like that was Fowler still hanging on to the second place spot. Now, there are some split lane options here, so we may not get a look at everyone that makes their way through.
Hunter Hart there taking that option line.
So, if you guys don't know, if you've never been here in person, you can see the fans. They're out in the course. They're in the trails. They're pointing lines to everybody. And so the riders kind of pick and choosing. You get one juiced-up guy in the crowd. He's got his shirt off. He says, you need to go right. That could make or break your entire race.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Howard's Hole fans are unique here to Snowshoe. This is such a marquee property for GNCC.
How dry it is. I can't believe how hot it is up here as well this weekend. So maybe that's going to play into the role. We saw some Florida riders, some Southern riders doing really well early on in some of the youth and AM races. We'll see whether who's ever been putting in the fitness, used to the heat and used to this level of speed and rockiness, who's ever going to come out on top. As it looks like on the bottom of your screen, I believe that might be your leader. We're waiting to get confirmation from race control. But, Johnny, you've been here obviously multiple times before Jackson and myself have joined the GNCC crew. How dry is this compared to some of the years we've seen in the past?
I mean, this is right on par with the driest snowshoes that we have ever seen. We have absolutely that is our leader on screen, Adam McGill. So McGill putting his early bid in to try to earn back McGill Mountain. There's a big battle on social media between he and actually this rider right here, the 723 of Walker Fowler. A little different line through that section. These two guys, between the two of them, have more wins on the mountain than anyone else. There is Bryson Neal now up into the number 3 spot. We saw Josh Merritt was there off the rip, and then comes, I believe, Hunter Hart. We saw him make the pass on a few riders there in Howard's Hole, has worked his way up to the number 4 spot. Then it's the 621 of Wilkin in 5th. But the battle for the mountain up front there between the top two for the name of the mountain. Walker Fowler has the most wins here. Adam McGill has the second most, and they're constantly battling out as to who exactly has the rights to say that. There's Stephen Harrell, so that is the first rider coming from the second row, now up into looking like what is the 6th place spot. Then it's Merritt, and behind him looks to be Jared McClure there on the number 9 machine. So that's about your top 8 or 9 through. Then it is John Glauda Jr. on the 712. Phoenix Racing Yamaha, sorry, my bad. A couple years ago, we had that Phoenix Honda team, which races on Sunday on our motorcycles. Then coming through after that, actually getting the whole shot in the second row, wanted to point out, that was an XC2 rider. That was Alex Tiemann. Ronnie Rush was a little bit further back, but Alex Tiemann grabbing the win at the last round. There is Ronnie Rush working his way through just behind Austin Abney on the 703 machine. Behind them coming through is a great shot. We're seeing all these guys wheel to wheel. There is Brandon Owens, new to the XC1 class after grabbing a win in that XC2 class just a little bit earlier this year on the Sturdivant Power Sports racing back machine. Those guys from Elkins, West Virginia, just a stone's throw from here, so you know he's got a lot of fans and a lot of support out there today. Here comes the leader in the XC2 class, Alex Tiemann, coming through and making it look easy.
Well, gentlemen, I can't stand to watch it. I want to go down. I want to get in the action. I'm going to try to see if I can crutch my way over to Howard's Hole and maybe crowd surf, I don't know, over one of these cameras. Let you guys know exactly what's going on, so I'm going to leave it with you here in the booth.
All right, Zach, have fun. We'll be looking for you.
Zach, we'll wish you all the best down there. You're going to get to see the best views unless you're tuned into Racer TV here, the best places you can see down in the woods here, just such gnarly terrain. Zach Heron going to go down and get a bird's eye view of it right there in it, and we'll hope that the crowd is faithful and allows him to work his way through. Obviously, he's a little gimped up and on crutches, so we're going to get him some wheels to get down there. There comes Braxton Gross. Some of our XC2 riders now working their way through. Looks like about the top 5 in that XC2 class have come through here at the 5-mile marker. We're bringing you this, guys. We've got more camera shots. We've got better coverage than we've ever had here on Racer TV. So if you're at home and you're watching this, text your friends, text your family, get everybody ready, because you're going to get to see the live action all the way down to the finish line all day today and all day tomorrow. We're bringing it to you here on Racer TV Live.
So, Johnny, as we take a look here at Mile 5, what do you think is making it so wet in the woods for it to be so dry out on the fields? That's what we've been hearing all day up on the podium.
So, the hardest thing to explain here on the mountain is you've actually got water working its way out of the ground and out of the mountain. You could call them springs, but it's more than just springs. The mountain holds its moisture throughout the year. You know, every time it rains, all that snowpack, as it melts, it soaks into the dirt. And then obviously from the top, which we're here at the top, 48, it's dry. All of the moisture has kind of migrated its way down the slopes. Well, what you're looking at here is a few hundred further feet down in elevation. The moisture is still working its way down and working its way out through the dirt. Obviously, if you get a long period of time where there's no rain, the slopes will dry up. But unless they're in direct sunlight right now, the word I heard was, you know, great dirt in most of it, and some of the places that there's always water, there's still standing water. These guys are splashing through it. So, as crazy as it can be, you know, you're seeing dust there in the background, and we know if you're up here on the mountain, especially around that finish line, dusty, dusty, dusty. But as you work your way down into the woods and it's protected from the sunlight, you know, that slickness comes out. And another thing you can see on camera there, Jackson, those roots. Those things are gnarly, whether it's on a motorcycle or an ATV. They are just so slick, and they can so quickly take your balance away from you on a motorcycle, take your traction away from you on an ATV, and, you know, they really beat you up, man. It's a lot like running over speed bumps on the highway, but at slow speed, it's almost worse because it's trying to rip the handlebars out of your hands, and it's just really hard to navigate with those gnarly roots like that.
Yeah, just like any other GNCC, a lot of obstacles out there to throw you off course. A lot of rocks here on this property, getting told a lot about the rocks, and we let the 4x4 pros go through Howard's Hole, as we mentioned earlier, so that means Howard Hole is going to be a lot more beat up than what these riders are used to.
And here we see the shot of the Monster Energy Monster Mile, which this weekend is Mile 2, Howard's Hole. Riders still working their way through that section, despite our leaders being already past the 5-mile marker. But, folks, it looks like there's a lot of people from this shot. But if you're actually down there, it continues like this for a half a mile in each direction. These guys are just in a tunnel of people. They're pointing lines. They'll jump in. They'll help you if you get stuck. This is, without question, the greatest spectacle in off-road racing anywhere in the world. You know, there are races that people could argue might be tougher. You know, you've got hard enduros. There, you know, are certainly places where people could say, well, no, our riders are good too. But no one anywhere on planet Earth has a spectacle like Howard's Hole. It's just absolute jaw-dropping craziness when you get down there, from the fans to the, you know, the difficulty of the terrain, frankly. You can see Ryder in the foreground here to the left, just high-centered on massive boulders. The fans, the mud fleas, the Howard's Hole mud fleas, jumping in and helping him get unstuck. But it's taken quite some time. He's really hung up there.
I would say that the fans down here are going to be the true obstacle in Howard's Hole. These riders know how to make their way through a mud hole. You throw in all of this crowd, all these people, that's when you're going to see things become difficult for them.
And you're exactly right, Jackson. And the thing is, as you know, all of my years racing here, as I said, the first year that we ran this section, you know, it probably wasn't quite as beat up as it is now. You know, it was the first time through, but there were so many line options. You know, if somebody got stuck, you just move over a quad length. You might have to go over a little bigger rock or a little bit, you know, deeper mud hole, but you could make it through. The spectacle that is Howard's Hole now adds a unique set of challenges, because obviously most of these riders have e-bikes or they walk down there, they check out the course, they get their lines in their head. Throw that all out the window at Snowshoe and Howard's Hole. It doesn't matter where you want to go. It matters where the crowd, the mass that is the Howard's Hole crowd, decides you're going to go. And you could look at that as a bad thing, and fans, you know, maybe shouldn't be interfering with the race, but it's the same for everybody, and they'll help you the moment you get stuck. It is just a unique element here on Snowshoe Mountain. That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, there's no, these guys, like, especially on the front lines, the front line mud fleas, those aren't really spectators as much as they are participants at the Snowshoe GNCC. And yeah, to Johnny's point, man, I don't care if you are just 100%, hey, I'm an Adam McGill fan. I don't like Walker Fowler. Or flip that, I love Walker Fowler. I don't like Adam McGill. Everybody down there, like, jumps in, and they'll get elbow deep, knee deep, and help them out. It's really, really cool.
It's cool. And
probably also frustrating at times as a pro rider or any rider rolling through there, too.
Mikey, I've told you in the past, and I have no problem. I think transparency is the best policy. There's a lot going on. You can see this guy's just thrilled. He's throwing his arms up. He knows people are cheering for him. You can see people videoing. They know they're part of the action. These videos are going to be on YouTube later tonight, if not this afternoon already. As a pro racer, as a racer who likes controlling their own destiny, yes, I have been frustrated at times. But at the same time, after the mud settles, after the dust settles, and you think about it, you're like, you know what? That may have adversely affected, in my perception, my race today because they didn't let me take the line that I wanted to take or whatever it may be. But the reality is, like I said, same for everybody. They don't play favorites. Right. And it is such a unique obstacle that you only have to do once a year. And another thing worth pointing out here, as we're looking at the Monster Mile, the Monster Energy, Howard's Hole, different this year. The entrance into it, completely different. Normally we come down a huge boulder field, have to jump off a big flat rock or take a long line around. This year coming in much lower trajectory into Howard's Hole, so it really has changed the preferred line through the hole.
Going to be a good one. We are watching the Monster Mile down at Howard's Hole. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back with the FMF PowerPoint and more other racing action from our XC1 Pro class here in just a moment after we get in a word from our sponsors. This is the Yamaha Racing Store.
Unleash aggression, reliability, and premium quality with Kenda Tires. Delivering exceptional performance on all types of vehicles. Automotive, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, bicycles, trailers, lawn and garden, and even golf. Trust Kenda Tires to guide you on your next adventure. Kenda, designed for your journey.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gasket seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best inside their engine. Cometic Gaskets are always constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environments. Whether it's a championship on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts alike depend on Cometic. Cometic Gasket, sealing championships since 1989.
On Track School is an online private school catering to some of the top athletes in the world. We offer a flexible schedule for students that are chasing their dreams and always on the go. We are an accredited K-12 school where students can graduate with a diploma. Scan the QR code or call us to book an appointment with one of our learning coaches to discuss your students' next steps.
And welcome back, GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com, watching the Monster Mile, Howard's Hole, trying to work out a few technical difficulties, just be fully transparent with you guys. The Mountain, boy, she likes to play tricks on us up here at Snowshoe Mountain, so apologize for that, but hopefully we can get the kinks worked out for you, and we can get back to covering some more racing action. In the meantime, you know what? Not a bad view.
No, absolutely. And Mikey, you know, really worth noting for someone who's never been up here before, up top, we're sitting in Racer TV Control at 4,848 feet. 48. We're pretty high up here. Some of these shots you're looking at are several thousand. Yes, you heard me correct. 1,000 feet below us, down near the lake, down near the bottom side of the mountain where the golf course is. It is much, much lower. So to be able to transmit signal from cameras up and down, it is a struggle every year. We thought this year, because the weather conditions were prime, it was going to be easy peasy, but we're finding out the mountain has other ideas. But as you can see, we've got another shot here at the 4-mile marker, and completely polar opposite conditions from what we were looking at there down at Howard's Hole. Just dust. Now look at this. This is actually the GBC Tires pit stop area, and that looked like that may have been Walker Fowler having taken over the lead that came by. It also looked like it could have been Wyatt Wilkin. Don't quote me on that, but some riders have come through. Adam McGill no longer leading. There is Stephen Harrell. Adam McGill making repairs in the pits, and there is Jared McClure, so he has now fallen way back. No, Mikey Waynes, Adam McGill DNFing here last year in only a mile, and now he's in the pits, and they are making what appear to be somewhat lengthy repairs on this machine.
Visor gone for Adam. I'm going to think maybe a gnarly get-off there for Adam.
Looking like he's having trouble there with the controls on the handlebars.
If you're a McGill fan and you can see he's back on and running, you need to cheer him on, because at this point, looking like he is very near the tail end of the top 10 as they came through, meaning if he wants to throw his hat in the ring, I now think that was, in fact, Wyatt Wilkin. I think we missed our couple of leaders, Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, already having come through on that camera shot. We'll see what this is here. Obviously, we've got our Yamaha Racing live drone picking up some of our riders. I don't see any dust in front of that rider. Could possibly be Walker Fowler, Hunter Hart, Wyatt Wilkin, could be any of them. We'll get down, we'll get close, we'll get the shots, and we will know very soon. They are actually working their way towards the finish line area, where they will have Ricky Towery with the caution flag waving and letting us know that we have completed one lap of GNCC racing here on Snowshoe Mountain.
It sounds like Adam Gordon, our producer, was saying they're anticipating that being actually Bryson Neal. Well, I don't know.
That is Hunter Hart that we're actually zoomed in on. Don't know if he is the leader or not, but I don't see any dust in front of him. But that is, that is definitely Hunter Hart. You can see the water pack on the back of the chest protector. He is the only rider that runs that setup.
How huge would this be for Hunter Hart? I know we got a lot of racing left to go. But
that looked to be possibly Bryson Neal, but keep in mind, could also be John Glada Jr. Those guys are I don't see any dust in front of this rider, and that is definitely the number 2 of Hunter Hart out front. Has been on a dry spell for podiums here for a long stretch of 2024. Well, folks, get excited, because it is HH2 out front and leading the way here on lap number 1.
I don't know if anybody, Johnny or Jackson, that in the XC1 class right now needs a win more than Hunter Hart, a guy that needs that kind of moral victory almost. So Hunter Hart off to a fantastic start here early in this one.
Checking in the number 2 spot, 13 seconds back, is the number 1, the Bidwell Bullet of Bryson Neal. So he is in the number 2 spot there. Now we see actually that's back to Hunter Hart. Still pushing his way. Very fast section of race course here, folks, and this is where it's just dusty. So a big advantage for Hunter Hart. You can see him just blowing up those dust berms and making it harder for the riders behind him to see. A couple more riders now checked in. In the number 3 spot is Walker Fowler, 11 seconds back from Bryson Neal. And then Wyatt Wilkin, only 7 seconds behind Fowler. So Wyatt Wilkin, the rider on the move right now.
Wyatt Wilkin trying to make something happen here. But, boy, Hunter Hart, a season, obviously, a lot of things not going Hunter's way. You could certainly use a good finish here today. A win would be pretty solid for him, and a confidence boost for Hunter Hart. But, boy, he's got to feel good about being where I think he feels he needs to be or should be coming into this season.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're on a dry spell, when things just aren't going your way, any little bit can be something to build off of. You know, we saw Hunter have some better rides a few rounds ago, was up in the battle for the podium, wasn't quite able to hold on to it, but very near a podium, top 5 position. So a little bit of confidence there, but hey, you know, he started today, I believe, on row number 2 because he's outside the top 5. So not only is he physically leading, but he has also that time correction that we'll talk about a lot today.
Yes.
So it's going to take math to figure all this out. But keep in mind that elapsed time will – so interesting. So the time behind says 13 seconds, but that is not accurate because if you look at their elapsed time per the time correction – we're showing that Hunter Hart actually has a 20-second lead on Bryson Neal. So I guess we're going to have to go off that elapsed time.
Oh, boy.
So they're not doing the time correction for us in the time behind. We'll have to do the math. So 20 seconds is the lead, 13 physically, and then 7 seconds for the time correction. So going back, we do have some more riders. Looks like we have our top 10, actually 11 riders checked in. Now we'll give you a rundown. You know your top 4 had already checked in. Hunter Hart leading the way. Bryson Neal in the number 2 spot. Walker Fowler sitting there in the number 3 spot. Wyatt Wilkin 4th. Then it's Stephen Harrell, the XC1 rookie there in the number 5 spot, followed closely by Jared McClure. Adam McGill holding on to a number 7 place spot. He's 19 seconds behind McClure. Then it's Ronnie Rush, Josh Merritt, Brandon Owens rounding out your top 10. And these guys are headed for where, Mikey Waynes?
Hey, Howard's Hole. And hopefully, well, it is a long haul. We were just talking off air just about how, no, it was on air. I guess it was on air. Sorry, long day, and it's hot up here, about how far the trip is. Zach Heron is on his way down there. We'll see if he's able to hobble his way and get into a spot to give us the live call in person. But, boy, if not, we got a shot of it right here on Racer TV. Going to be a good one.
Yeah, and everything the first mile or so is very fast. We saw it on camera. Then it really slows down. Oh, no. The train has derailed, folks. The train is in the train yard. The number 3 of Cole Richardson nearly putting it on the podium just a few weeks ago at the Mason-Dixon. Coming out to give it another go here, but it looks like they're making some repairs on that machine. And the fact that he has not even crossed over to the other side of the mountain yet, he's going to be sitting well outside the top 20 overall. A rider that you can't count out to come back and make up some time, but I think it's safe to say any hopes of winning this or being on the podium today, absolutely gone.
Well, and you can kind of tell by Cole's body language right there that not good.
Yeah,
as he hops off the machine and throws the hands up.
Tough break for Cole Richardson. He was your second-place finisher here in 2023.
All right, we got some more riders checking in. We do have our leader in that XC2 class, and it is still the number 16 of Alex Tiemann in that 12th place spot overall and leading XC2 with a 37-second lead over Grayson Eller on the number 171 machine. And then it's Chris Howard, a local Buchanan, West Virginia native, running in the number 3 spot. Our visiting rider from out west, Braxton Gross, in the number 4 spot in that XC2 Pro-Am class. And then Dylan Walraven rounding out the top 5.
So solid day so far. Watching our Monster Energy Monster Mile, better known this weekend as Howard's Hole. Waiting on those pro riders to check in here, and we'll get an idea what those gaps are. Hunter Hart leading the way. And, boy, take a little momentum. We talk about momentum a lot. This is the last round before we enter summer break. We got 4 rounds as we come out of that in September. And this could be huge. Obviously, the season, you know, Hunter Hart out of that championship chase. But, boy, if he can click off a win or even a podium here today, that's going to be huge for him to kind of carry that confidence boost heading into the long summer break. And you come back out in the fall, hey, come out swinging, and just sort of set that foundation for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, you know, it's too early to tell this, with including today, still having 5 rounds left. But with 8 rounds completed, it's safe to say Hunter is out of the championship fight. You know, there's just not enough time or races or points left to make, even if he wins out from here. Likelihood of battling for a 2024 championship, gone. Yeah. That said, to put yourself in the mix for podiums week in and week out and race for race wins week in and week out, like we know Hunter is capable of doing, that just gives you so much more momentum, so much more confidence rolling into 2025. You've not given up on 2024. Sure. You're just really focused on individual race results and getting yourself ready to go for next year, because we know Hunter Hart is a rider we expect and he expects to be battling for race wins and championships.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to it. I love they've commandeered our monster can down there. I will advise, you know, we would prefer you not do that, but let's go ahead and just say we're fighting a losing battle on that end. So, hey, it's what it is. you got a nice souvenir, just know that you're on racertv.com right now.
Yeah, that's that will be going home with the track crew, not with you.
Oh, my goodness.
But you can carry it around for a little bit if you want until somebody comes and finds you and gets it back. We don't have speakers down there, but we see beach balls flying around. We got some other adult libations happening. It is a party. We see a chainsaw. Don't worry, folks. No blade on that chainsaw.
Yeah, we're
it's
safe.
just for the noise because currently no ATVs working their way through Howard's Hole. These guys don't like it quiet. They need to make some noise.
Yeah, you got to make some noise down there at Howard's Hole. So what a mob of people.
And there's so many you can't see from the camera shot. Like Johnny mentioned earlier, it goes on for a mile through there. When you show up down at Howard's Hole, there are so many more people than you would have ever thought. So it's so deep out in the woods, like we mentioned, and then you just show up. You're by yourself. You walk down the trail, then all of a sudden it opens up into what is Howard's Hole.
A small village.
You know, it's funny, worth noting here, looking at the overall standings as the riders are checking in. We've only had 26 riders check in for one lap complete.
Wow.
And we know our leaders are already working on getting pretty close to being a quarter of the way around lap number 2. Shows you the diversity here on the mountain. Obviously, we see the technical sections like Howard's Hole. We saw that Rudy stuff on the side there at the 5-mile marker. We saw the fast stuff out at the 4, and then from here, or from the start to here. The thing is, folks, this mountain will string the race out. Yes, we see a bunch of our leaders close together, but as you look down, you get outside the top 10, you start seeing gaps between riders. Looks like, speaking of riders, we've got one on screen, and still leading the way, it's the number 2 of Hunter Hart. You see him working his way through, just effortless through Howard's Hole, Mikey.
Yeah, Hunter Hart making his way through, or where the crowd tells him to go through. You know what, Johnny, to your point, I was talking with, as we wait on the rest of the pack to come through here, was speaking with Josh Merritt, Monster Energy pre-race report. There is second place, Bidwell, Bullet, Bryce, and Neal rolling through. I think it was him. Looked like the moose gear.
Yes, it was.
It is, yep.
So B. Neal inching his way up a little bit. But speaking with Josh Merritt, I said this year a little different. We haven't had the rain coming into it. We don't have the rain this weekend. He said, I don't anticipate this being one where we're able to kind of stay close to one another. I think of the dust, all the elements of the heat, etc., is going to make for us to have some gaps in between today. Your thoughts on that, Johnny?
Yeah, I agree.
Still run the big tires, too?
Yeah, no, actually, everyone in the front 4 rows, save for one rider, were on the larger, actually most everyone was on the 23-inch fronts, which is the biggest of the bigs. We talked about before Josh Merritt winning that race on the tweeners. For those folks at home, normally these machines run a 21-inch front tire, 20-inch rear. The bigs, the big tires, are the 23-inch front and 22-inch rear, so 2 inches larger on both the front and the rear. The fine folks at GBC brought some tweeners. Josh Merritt winning a race on those. They're 22-inch fronts, 21-inch rears, but nearly everyone opting for the bigs except for Brandon Owens.
Interesting.
He actually was on the standard setup, the 21-inch fronts and 20-inch rears. We'll see how that pans out for him. But we could do that little bit of fodder normally. Hey, this guy's on bigs, this guy's on tweeners, this guy's on smalls. Today, with the exception of Brandon Owens, really not much to discuss.
What a shot as we watch Hunter Hart from the Yamaha Racing live drone. He's going to head back off into the woods.
Yeah, you can see still a pretty solid gap there. Did not see Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, working his way up just yet. Mikey, you alluded to the fact that Howard's Hole looked like he was maybe a little bit closer. The Bidwell Bullet, a rider that likes to strike early, often, late, all the time. He is never content just to sit back there and let the race happen. He's always wants to be in the fight up front, and showing that again today. It looks like Ronnie Rush now working his way through Howard's Hole. Good ride for the rider out of Pennsylvania here so far, and man, look at the fans. The story of the day so far, Howard's Hole, we're being told, record crowds down there. There is Brandon Owens, so that is your first rider on small tires. So far, maybe that decision not panning out, but we'll see what happens as the race continues to develop.
Another big thing coming into today, obviously a lot of hype, rightfully so, surrounding Walker Fowler and the wins here on the mountain and the great debate. Is it Walker Fowler's mountain? Is it Adam McGill's mountain? The fans have their opinions. I talked to B. Neal when he was at registration, and I was like, what's up, underdog? And he's like, yeah, kind of. He's like, nobody's mentioning my name as possible winner today. And I was like, how's that make you feel? And he kind of shrugged. He's like, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, he's still in control of the points championship. So unfazed by it. But I got to think maybe the competitor in you somewhere in the back of your head's like,
yo, I'm still here. I still have that number 1 plate for a reason. We'll see if he puts it on display here later.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and for the folks at home watching, if you haven't followed, you know, Adam McGill and Walker Fowler, good friends off the track. You know, used to ride together many years ago. They have a lot of respect for each other, but there's been a lot of trash talk thrown.
Yes.
And
some of it Instagram even taking down, I saw. Yeah,
yes, I did see that. Looks like Hunter Hart on screen again here, still leading the way from our Yamaha Racing live drone camera. And, man, he is just on rails right now, looking smooth, looking confident, looking comfortable, and leading the way here about a lap and a quarter into this one. What we expect to most likely probably be, my thought is probably a 4-lap race. That's what I'm anticipating. That is me, not the track crew or the officials saying how long exactly it's going to go, but my guess is 4 laps. Hunter Hart now working his way up. This is the really dusty section we saw before at the 4-mile marker. And, you know, Mikey Waynes, this right here is where Hunter Hart can make some time. We've actually got our good friend Megawatt, Matt Watson, joining us in the booth. Megawatt, you've seen many GNCC races, and I was asked the question earlier, how does this one rank in terms of dustiness? Well, watching the dust that Hunter Hart is kicking up right now, I don't know if it's number 1, but it's up there.
Well, I got to tell you, we were in New York one year. That was absolutely brutal. We were in New York. You know, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. This is tough conditions right here, but what it does is it just changes strategy. As you mentioned, Johnny, the guys are going to give a little more gap, okay? They're going to use that to their advantage. Listen, you can't ride up on a guy's rear wheel and expect to see all that kind of stuff and be able to make a move. You have to give yourself a little room. You have to pick and choose your battles on a day like today when you want to make that move.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking like he wants to make that move is the number 1, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal, still sitting there in the number 2 spot. Not so far back from Hunter Hart. Hunter Hart now working his way through one of those unique sections. Watch how close they get to the condos here. Folks, it's fine. Everybody here on the weekend is here for the GNCC. They're totally fine with it. You can see, well, actually, I guess he's already passed that section. But he just literally went right by the back porch. There's people in their hot tubs out there, you know, enjoying a nice Gatorade, maybe a Red Bull, or sorry, a Monster. They're out there enjoying, and they're watching the riders and cheering them on as they go by. Now, this is where it all changes. We've seen the dust. We've seen Howard's Hole. This is I believe, the west side of the mountain is what I call it. I don't know if it's north-south, but I believe it is the west side. When you drop off right there, look at that. Roots, moisture in the ground. It's like 2 worlds, a tale of 2 worlds.
And, you know, they say that during the ski season, too. It really is. The Western Territory over there is extreme, okay? Deep drops, steep elevation, that kind of thing. A totally different landscape over there than just on the other side of the road where you're going to find a lot of different trails. When we look down in there, Johnny, what I see is that shiny yellow root.
Yeah.
That's what I see. And that's the biggest difference, I believe.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier with the roots being so slick. But one thing we got to talk about right now, Mike, it looked to me like Bryson Neal was a little closer. I think somebody's getting in a hurry. And it looks like now Walker Fowler's starting to put on a charge as well. These two are starting to pick up the pace and try to track down out front the number 2 of Hunter Hart.
Johnny, we mentioned pick your battles. Now, this might be a place if you're a really technical guy. You don't have that dust. You've got a little more traction. Now, what you got to be careful of, wheel spin and power delivery, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I think this year in terms of grip and the quality of the dirt, this is probably the best that they're ever going to have it.
It looks phenomenal.
But it is still slicker on the west side of the mountain, no question. We talked about before the moisture, how it kind of works its way down from the summit slowly. So that was Wyatt Wilkin there in the number 4 spot. Looks like Stephen Harrell solidly still in the number 5 spot. And honestly, on some of the longer straight sections, he can still see Wyatt Wilkin in front of him. We know this is a rider who badly wants to get himself into those podium battles. And look at this, starting to sneak up. It's the sneaky snake, folks. Sitting there in the number 6 spot and pushing hard, looking like he's trying to track down Harrell there. Did we have a rider? Oh, that quad was already sitting there. I thought we had a rider that may have had a mechanical issue. Now here comes McGill in the number 7 spot. Again, we've talked about it, trying to fight his way back into the battle to throw his hat in the ring to settle that debate. I don't get to settle it, but in my mind,
sure.
If you want to talk about whose mountain this is, there's 2 ways to look at it. There's no question that there's more McGill Mafia fans and Adam McGill fans up here on this mountain than anywhere else. It's a home state race from West Virginia. He's a West Virginia guy. He's won up here before. He's got that. He's got the sign that says McGill Mountain Unincorporated. You want to talk who owns the mountain? Walker Fowler. I mean, he's got the most wins. There's no question. But it doesn't mean that it can't be both their mountains.
That's true.
And that trash talk is what makes it fun.
It's absolutely. I think that's an enormous appeal. Obviously, it's it's a party up here that a race breaks out. By the way, my man here, I'm not sure who he is. If you know in the comments, let us know, because our man here, the class of 2028 at mile marker 5, is the biggest hype man I've seen.
This guy's going to need rotator surgery from shaking that fist, Johnny. I've never seen anything like this guy, dude. I love his enthusiasm and his energy.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking he chose the Western Territory, the western side of the mountain, because he doesn't have the room to really get down and boogie in Howard's Hole. He needs to get those hand pumps going. There is Josh Merritt. A rider, dare we say, a bit of an off day so far here for him. There is Austin Abney working his way through, and then just behind them, it is a lap rider. But Josh is a rider that we've seen so consistently in the podium battles. Not to put a spin on things, I think he wasn't probably about halfway through. So we're, getting close to seeing what would be a 2-lap card is my guess when they come through this lap.
Yamaha Racing live drone.
Much bigger gap than we saw just a mile ago.
Exactly.
And look at that. That speaks to it, because now Walker Fowler much closer to Bryson Neal. So what did look like Bryson Neal putting in a push, getting closer to Hunter Hart, now something has happened with Bryson Neal that he's given up at least 10 to 15 seconds and is much closer now back to Walker Fowler.
Walker Fowler sees the dust. He's going to get a glimpse of that fender here and there through the trees, and that's going to make a big difference. That's really going to motivate him to hit that reset button, collect it, and you know what? He's going to get the heart rate back in order, and that's going to give him a second burst right here, no question.
Guys, real quick here, battle on screen. Stephen Harrell and Jared McClure. Can't tell which is which, but they were not that close together a moment ago when we saw them at the 4-mile marker. Now here, 5-mile marker. We go ahead to the 6, and what was probably a 5-6 second gap is about 5-6 feet.
So, Johnny, in both these situations, when we talk about Walker and when we talk about these guys, I think that's an example of letting the race come to them right now. They're picking their lines. They've let some of the vision issues sort themselves out. They know where they can get up on somebody. And, again, the best way to stay out of the dust is be right on a guy's bumper.
Yep.
But that's not always possible. And I think at this point in the game, these guys are really going to start making some moves from what they've learned on those first lap and a half, 2 laps.
Going to be a good one. Hunter Hart leading the way out in front. Battles ensuing just behind him. We'll be right back from the Yamaha Racing Snowshoe GNCC after this.
We've been there since the very beginning.
20 laps, the main event, the Mud, the Blood, the Beer.
Organizing the industry and building champions. "100 years of defending your rights to ride into the future."
Community, family, teamwork. It's what we have stood on for over a decade. Hauling might be what we do at the surface, but it's much deeper than that. Because what you need matters. When you need a haul, give us a call at 724-852-4488. For 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year, we at JD Enterprises are prepared to serve you.
It takes commitment, passion, and endurance to make something great. Made by champions, for champions.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized e-turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And we welcome you back to GNCC live here on RacerTV.com. And last night from the Village, we had EMTB Racing. And, hey, just like we do on Saturday and Sunday, they get the unique kind of tribute to, the tribute to the Blackwater 100 with the EMTB Racing. Charlie Mullins lining up with the boys. Talon Hawk out there in that XC2 class. And You know what? They may have actually been the beneficiaries of quite possibly the best all weekend with a little bit of rain yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. We did get that rain yesterday, and it was perfectly timed. Track hadn't really dried out completely. You can see still some moisture in the ground there. Definitely, like you said, great to have the multi-time e-bike champion, Charlie Mullins, back out there for a guest appearance with us this weekend. But the conditions were prime. It was all time, and some great racing action.
Speaking of guest appearances, you know, I got to see Johnny GNCC all over the place this spring and summer. We've seen you at Supercross. We've seen you outdoors. We've seen you here. Just all kinds of cool stuff, Johnny. And, you know, I tell you, you're one of the best school guys in the business. I tell you that all the time. I don't know how in the world you pick these guys out by gear alone, how you do that. But it's always so cool. You know, I think we were in Nashville. Standing down there together. Were you in Nashville? Was that where we were? Yeah. We were hanging out, and all of a sudden a crowd just gathers, and, you know, all of us bench racing together. But get Johnny out of his element, and guess what? He's still a pro. He's still an expert, bro. I'll tell you that right now. He knows
Except for those e-bike races. You put me in one of those, and those boys come trucking right by me.
Hey, I'm going to duck out, you guys. We're going to let Jackson back in here for a bit, and maybe we'll have time. We'll get in here with some two-wheel action tomorrow.
Well, we're actually getting a preview of that on our screen right now. We have one of our chase riders working their way through. Not racing yet, but they're out there checking out the course, inspecting, making sure all the course markings are still up, making sure everything in Howard's Hole is completely, you know, in line the way it needs to be, and absolutely set up and ready to roll for when these racers do come through. And you can see it is absolutely nothing short of a party down there.
There is plenty of mud to go around.
All right, fellas, I'm going to go get another Vantage. We're going to let Jackson back in. Johnny, always good hanging out. Mikey, awesome having you in the booth last week at High Point. You and I go to Southwick next week for some more pro motocross, and we're going to invite Johnny up here to hang out with us as well.
Let's do it.
Leader. We have Leader on screen, and hot on his heels. It looks to still be the number 2 of Hunter Hart. We actually have a lap rider there up front, I believe, and then it is... Let's see. We'll wait and see, but it looks to be the number 2 of Hunter Hart. It is leading the way, but the number 1, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal, hot on his heels and all over him. That lapper does not realize it, but he just went into a very one-line section with no way to let those guys around until they get up to the top of this hill here, and they are going to be all over him.
Oh, mercy. Yep. Single file right through there.
Hunter Hart still leading the way. Bryson Neal right behind him, but this is a battle for the lead that you're watching on screen, folks.
Going to be fun to watch this one play out. You know what? This is where Hunter Hart expected himself to be coming into this season. Well, things not going his way. Now he's got his opportunity right here. Mano a mano with the defending champ of Bryson Neal. Ooh, like that. Okay.
Likely going to see some pit stops here, folks, because this is going to be only a 4-lap race. This will be 2 laps complete. You know, if you're Bryson Neal, you're wanting to get in and out of there and make the pass. Make it easy on yourself, and he does just that. Bryson Neal takes the lead in the pits with a fist bump. That was won by the pit stop right there. Bryson Neal getting around Hunter Hart, and I believe right behind them we did see Walker Fowler coming into his pit. Not sure if we'll see that, but still wheel to wheel. And there, that is that lap rider we saw. But there is your new leader, Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, to the front.
How about that? The 2 people that we didn't talk about coming into this race are the 2 that are out front.
They said, I'll make you guys at Racer TV say my name. We are now Bryson Neal leading, and Hunter Hart, like I was saying earlier, I know he's in the 2 spot now, but this is where Hunter expected himself to be coming into the year. Now he is going to get that opportunity. I like the aggressiveness by Hunter not checking up. I think in that situation, you want to be on that rear wheel right now.
He has to. If he wants to stay with Bryson Neal, he needs to stay right with him, like glued to him, because they're about to hit some very, very dusty sections of racetrack, and even just 5 or 6 bike lengths is enough that Hunter Hart, as bad as he wants it, as fast as he feels, is going to have no choice but let off unless he's literally on the rear wheels of Bryson Neal, unless he tucks around the inside and makes the pass, which is what he looked like he was trying to do right there.
Boy, oh boy, they got close to those hay bales as they made their way around. Hunter Hart really pushing the issue. How cool is it racing down the highway?
Yeah, Hunter, like to your point, Johnny, yeah, he's got to stay on his rear wheel. On the inside is Hunter Hart, unable to make it stick. Bryson Neal still leads.
And this is where Hunter really needs to stay close to Bryson, because you see the dust picking up. He's close enough right now that he's still able to see Bryson, even with the wall of dust that starts popping up. But if he loses much more than a few bike lengths, there will be sections where he has no choice but to either let off or he risks flying completely blind, and that is just too big a risk to take in some of these sections of race course.
Absolutely correct. Hunter Hart in that 2 position. Johnny, you feel like Hunter almost playing with house money at this point? I mean, Bryson Neal, he's in a good position for the championship. If you're Hunter Hart, like, you're letting it all hang out right now. You're throwing everything at Bryson Neal but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're Hunter Hart, you're not worried about consistency at this point. Like, you just want to win this race. If you're Bryson, he's already made the statement multiple times, like, I know I don't need to win every race to win this championship. My main focus is the war, not just the battle. Right. But right now, a lot of sense of urgency out of Bryson Neal. He is not just cruising. He is pushing, trying to open a gap over Hunter Hart. So far, just not able to do it. Hunter has a match for everything that Bryson Neal has thrown at him, and they are still, as you see, coming to the finish for what will be a 2-lap board, we believe, in the hands of Ricky Towery. And there it is, 2 laps to go. These guys checking in, and we'll refresh our screen, but look at that. You can see Hunter Hart into the dust, can't even see inches in front of him, and just blindly charging after Bryson Neal. What a race.
And coming up here in about 2 miles, this mano-a-mano battle between Bryson Neal and Hunter Hart will roll into Howard's Hole. Ready to see it. Let's do it. Has third checked in, Johnny? Not yet.
As of yet, just the top 2 riders have checked in. Still no Walker Fowler there in the number 3 spot. You can see these guys now quite a bit of ways down the trail, so that gap has opened up. Bryson Neal putting in a push, getting up to Hunter Hart, making the pass. And now, hold on a second, folks. This just popped into my head.
Oh, time adjustment.
Hunter Hart's still leading this.
Time adjustment.
Yes, absolutely.
Forgot about that.
So when you look at the time adjustment, Hunter Hart is leading with an elapsed time of 58 minutes, 19 seconds. Bryson Neal, 58 minutes, 25 seconds. So 6 seconds is the lead for Hunter Hart, even though he is, per the timing and scoring, 9/10 of a second, basically 1 second behind. So 7 seconds is going to be that magic number that we're going to use to calculate. Oh no, Josh Merritt in the GBC Tires pit stop area, looking like they're changing out something in the rear end of that machine. Folks, this looms large. This is our 3rd place rider in points, and he looks like they're changing out something on the rear end, maybe taking something off of Cole Richardson. Look like he's helping out there as well, working his way towards getting back out into the racing action.
So tough break for Josh Merritt. Jackson Burrell actually heading down to the pro pits to see if he can get a word in with either Merritt himself or maybe the team down there. Kudos to Cole. Obviously things not going his way today, and he's like, you know what, buddy, I'll help you out. I'm right here. Let's see if we can get you back out there. 2 laps in, Johnny, I forgot all about that. Now added, I guess, incentive for Hunter Hart of, okay, I don't have to get around Bryson Neal at this point. I just have to maintain pace with him.
Yeah, absolutely. 7 seconds is the split, at least as our scoring computer is showing it right now, between row 1 and row 2 where Hunter Hart started, meaning that he basically needs to be within less than 7 seconds of Bryson Neal. When Bryson Neal crosses the finish line, assuming it continues to run this position and this distance with these 2 riders, when Bryson Neal crosses the finish line, Hunter Hart has exactly 7 seconds to get across the line. Anything short of it, he wins the race. Anything 7 seconds and 1/1,000,000th of a second, and Bryson Neal wins the race.
All you need. Howard's Hole, waiting on our leaders, Bryson Neal and Hunter Hart. Go ahead.
So it looks like we obviously do have some more riders checked in. 9 riders have checked in now with 2 laps complete. Sitting in the number 3 spot, it is Walker Fowler, 44 seconds behind Hunter Hart. And then just behind him, 19 seconds back, is Wyatt Wilkin. Another 21 seconds back to Jared McClure, Stephen Harrell, and then another 9 seconds back to Jared McClure. John Glauder Jr. running in the number 7 spot, 53 seconds back. Then 3 seconds behind him, Adam McGill. So Glauder has actually gotten around McGill, displaced him 1 more position. So Adam McGill running in that number 8 spot in the overall, followed by Brandon Owens, 21 seconds back in the number 9 spot. And then as we refresh, looks like now Ronnie Rush has also checked in that number 10 spot in the overall, 2 seconds behind Brandon Owens.
Great race rolling. The fans and the crowd are ready down at Howard's Hole. Pro's going to be coming at you. Had a couple of lapped riders rolling through right there. But nonetheless, great racing here today with Hunter Hart leading. And, again, just, you know what, 2 laps into it, 2 to go for Hunter Hart at the halfway point. He's got to be feeling good. Like, win or a podium today, Hunter Hart's got to be elated after the troubles he's had this year.
Sure. I think if you're Hunter Hart, a podium would be a step in the right direction, but don't kid yourself. This guy is out here going for a win today.
Yeah.
He knows where he wants to be. He hears the chatter. He hears what we say, and he doesn't like it.
Right.
And you can't blame the guy. He is a championship caliber rider that is capable of winning races, and things have just been absolutely unraveling for him in 2024. Well, today he has the opportunity to right that ship, come out here, make a statement, win this race, and kind of silence all the haters.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had some off-camera, on-the-low conversations with Hunter. He and I kind of talking about it. I'm like, man, you know how to shut us up. You know how to get guys like me and Johnny to basically shut the hell up and sing your praises. And he's like, I know. It's going to happen for me. It's just not come together. So Hunter Hart maybe doing a little soul searching. He's got the mustache now. It's finally coming in.
6 months later, he's finally got the stash.
I can't say much. I'm in the same boat. But, it's like a plague of mustaches down in ATV Pro Row, Johnny. Jay Shad's got his.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't either. They said it was the Snowshoe stash. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, I don't think it should be a thing.
But count me in. I'm in next year.
No, it needs to stop. It looks like
bad.
It looks like a group of really bad. I don't know. Mustaches.
Film stars.
Yes.
Film stars. Yes. Sounds like maybe Jackson Burrell or maybe Zach Herron down. Well, it sounds like maybe one of our guys. I thought I heard a mic cut in. And it is Jackson Burrell down in the pro pits.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here at Josh Mayer's pit with Macy. Macy, could you tell us what's going on with Josh?
Yes, so he came by the first lap, let us know that he had a flat on the back left if you're sitting on the four-wheeler. We did not have the back rears off of the practice bike that he has here ready to go, so we told him to keep going this lap. We would do it the next lap. We had everything off, ready to go. Luckily, Mark ran down, helped. We got it switched. Unfortunately, the other side is off. I just don't think it's as bad. The balls in the one that was flat from the first lap were pretty much empty. So he was quiet and he was calm, so I'm hoping that he's going to get a little bit of a refresher. He did his famous helmet change, so he might get a second wind in him and go back out there and just ride his own race.
Macy, does he plan on finishing with that tire, or will he switch out the other tire as well?
No, I'm not even sure he's aware that he has a flat on the other side. He was mainly concerned with the one, so we're not letting him stop again. He's just got to deal with it. The other one that we have has a plug in it, so he's got what he's got at this point.
All right, thanks, Macy. Back to you guys.
Johnny, question for you, because I'm wondering, I'm sure the folks at home are wondering, I'm guessing everybody's running tire balls now, right? So we don't see flats at a normal GNCC like we used to years ago. Explain to us, is it the rocks out there? They're just the impact, they're puncturing? What's happening there?
So there's a lot of things at play there, actually. Yes, the rocks are a big factor, but also the speeds. Once you do have a flat, it's much more noticeable. On a normal, slower speed course, if you have your tire balls done correctly and the pressures in the balls themselves are proper, you don't even know if you've got a puncture. Okay. You just ride along, and after the race, you're like, oh, hey, there's no air in this tire. You literally do not feel it while you're riding. But a race like this, because of the speeds, when you lose that little bit of carcass pressure, what happens is, and the high speeds, the tire balls start shifting around. Do we have our leaders on screen? We do. The Bidwell Billet coming through here, through Howard's Hole, and still right in his shadow, the number 2 of Hunter Hart, working his way through and looking like this one is going to continue to be a battle. Bryson Neal still not able to shake Hunter Hart right in his shadow, right on his grab bar, and giving him all he can handle at the moment. Hunter looking like he's not just along for the ride. He looks like, hey, I'm not worried about that 7 seconds. I want the lead back. He looks very, very racy right now. We'll wait, we'll watch, we'll see when we have some more riders working their way through. Look like those are some lapped riders. The next rider of the leaders we should see would be the 723 of Walker Fowler, who was 44 seconds behind when they came through at the finish line for lap number 2 complete. Should be coming here just about any moment.
Kind of interesting watching those two guys roll through. We talked extensively about just watched a guy fall. I hope he's okay. You kind of go where you can go at Howard's Hole, and everybody's helping out. When Hunter Hart and Bryson Neal just rolled through there, it was like, get out of my way. I'm going through here as fast as I can. Just kind of a different perspective on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are just looking at
they're in a dog fight right now.
And there is, speaking of a dog fight, Wyatt Wilkin there in the number 4 spot. When they checked in, was only 19 seconds behind Walker Fowler, and looking like he actually might be a little bit closer than that right now. So we may see a battle develop over that number 3 spot, and now Bryce Neal has opened up a little bit of a gap over Hunter Hart in that number 2 spot. But look in front of them there, lapped riders. Changes the scope of the race completely. Now Bryce Neal no longer has the clear track that Hunter Hart had the advantage of on lap number 1, or most of lap number 1 and much of lap number 2. Bryce Neal now riding in the dust of lapped riders in front of him, has those guys clogging up lines, and that's another factor here in GNCC racing.
It's absolutely correct. So we'll see how that plays out for the boys out in front. Right now, Hart, Neal, Fowler, Wilkin. Did we miss Fowler coming through there?
No, he came through.
He did.
Third.
Okay, he did come through. Okay. And Wyatt Wilkin running out that top 4. Wyatt Wilkin, pre-race report said, Mikey, if I get on the podium, we're going to blow the roof off this place. And he said he's got a special outfit for tonight. So if you're here on property, him and Levi Cohen coming as Dumb and Dumber to the GNCC banquet. I think that one's been played out, but I would say probably look forward to seeing whatever the heck Wyatt Wilkin has planned.
And look at this now. Hunter Hart has closed it back up.
Let's go.
It was starting to open up a little bit. Hunter Hart put in a push, got right back to Bryson Neal. And Bryson Neal, you got to be thinking, is wondering, hey, man, this guy hasn't really been in the fight much this year. I thought he was going to be a little bit easier to break. But right now, Hunter Hart has a match for everything Bryson Neal throws his way.
Love the sense of urgency out of Hart, riding like a man that got nothing to lose. And at this point, it's carry some momentum into the long summer break, come out swinging those last 4 rounds after summer break, and see what you can do to maybe shake things up before the end of the year. I love that. Hunter Hart, would love to see him be able to get things turned around and kind of have the opposite on the tail end of this season.
Yeah, and like we talked about, Mikey, momentum can be huge in racing, in anything really, but especially here in GNCC racing. We have a long summer break where we're away from action, and nothing better than carrying that momentum, carrying those good vibes into summer break while you're training, while you're riding, racing local races, regional races. When you say, like, hey, I was the last guy that won a GNCC, that confidence goes a long way and can really be a game changer in the season.
What you see as the battle ensues with B. Neal and Hunter Hart from the Yamaha Racing Live Drone. You see that in any time, we normally have at least a weekend in between rounds. When we have those, 2 weekends between or 3, Merritt was the guy. He's like, man, I got to be the guy for a couple of added days with 2 weeks in between. Summer, that's just amplified that much more.
Yeah, absolutely. And those good vibes and that good feeling and just kind of a sense of accomplishment that you get from winning a race. The longer you can carry that, the better. You can see just dusty right now. But Hunter Hart kind of right on the verge of where he's close enough to Bryson to see him, but starting to fall back into that dust cloud a little bit. But they're back into the woods now, and he should be good. Only about another mile of racetrack until we see them hop over the top, head towards the Western Territory, and then dust really shouldn't be a factor over on that other side of the mountain.
If you're Hunter Hart, is that where you try to make the move on the other side?
I think if you're Hunter Hart at this point, you're trying everything you have to hang on to Bryson Neal. And if to be fair, if you're Bryson Neal, you're trying everything you can to shake Hunter Hart. I don't think either of these guys are playing a waiting game or waiting for an opportunity. I think they're throwing everything they have at it right now, while keeping in mind they know they need to get these machines to the finish line. This course is treacherous. We've already seen multiple riders in with multiple problems. Cole Richardson, Adam McGill, Josh Merritt, all these guys in with bike-related issues of some kind already, and we know that these guys are trying to avoid just that. These rocks are treacherous. The conditions are challenging. It's so easy to just slide slightly offline, cut a tire, find yourself at the worst case scenario, careening off the side of the mountain.
Right.
So you just really have to stay on top of your game. So I think these guys are all out to a safe degree right now.
Okay. I will take that. Hour and 15 into it, or knocking on the door of 2 laps in, 2 laps to go. Watching the battle between Bryson Neal and Hunter Hart. Bryson Neal is trying to stretch it out a bit, and while he's doing that, kick up as much dust as possible. There's our mile marker, number 5 guy, the biggest hype man in GNCC right now, telling B. Neal, that's the good line, keep it rolling. Same message for Hunter Hart. Rolling right through.
We'll see if we can get a split. So it was 112 15 when Hunter Hart came through that shot. See what it is back to Walker Fowler. 44 seconds is what it was when they came through, and Ricky Towery had the 2-lap card in hand. We've now advanced 5 miles further. See, we're at about 18 seconds now. We'll see what we are once we actually see Walker Fowler. And again, not far behind Walker Fowler. Wyatt Wilkin in that number 4 spot, only 19 seconds behind.
Wyatt trying to have a day. You know what? Quietly, we've not talked about him a whole lot. Stephen Harrell in the top 5 right now. He said prior to today's race, Mikey, I would love to have a podium. He said that's my big goal right now. But I really feel like I can be a top 5 guy. Well, Snowshoe Mountain, Stephen Harrell putting that on display right now through 2.
Absolutely, looking like we're at about, well, got some reverberation there in the headset, but we're approaching now a minute and still no Walker Fowler. And now here it is at exactly 1 minute. Walker Fowler works his way through, so he's given up about 15 seconds. And look behind him there, we've got the 6:21 of Wyatt Wilkin there in the number 4 spot. Hot and heavy, charging hard and coming after Walker Fowler for that final podium position. You know, as you look here, guys, we see these battles working their way through, and these are just continuing to tighten up. It looks like Wyatt Wilkin right now, the rider on the move. He has closed the gap down and is right behind Walker Fowler.
How about it? Wilkin saying he wanted to be up on the podium here today. He's trying to do just that. However,
look for that little extra party pizzazz.
Exactly.
Wyatt Wilkin is able to put himself on the podium. Now we see actually just another lapped rider, so just your top 4 have come through. And now here is the number 5 ride, as pointed out a few moments ago by our man on the scene, Mikey Waynes. That is Stephen Harrell on the number 8 machine, wanting to be inside the top 5 and doing just that. Did have some pressure from Jared McClure and still does. The sneaky snake behind him there in the number 6 spot, just a few seconds, and that is the battle over the final of the top 5 positions.
Moving right along here, outside of that top 5, well, you'd mentioned Jared McClure. John Glada Jr. kind of quietly back there. Jackson Burrell just ducked out. He's going to head to the pro pits, do a little pit reporting for us. I think maybe head for the McGill pits, see what's going on there. But nonetheless, great race so far. As we continue to watch here in mile marker 5, so coming up we should be able to have some coverage from our Yamaha Racing live drone as the rest of the pack rolled through.
John Glada Jr., the rider you just mentioned, there in that number 7 spot, has gotten around Adam McGill. Adam McGill was just behind him. We'll see what that gap is back to the 5:21, and there he is, visorless, but still fighting, sitting in that number 8 spot. As they work their way through here, and that is actually a lapped rider. So top 8 have come through here at the 5 mile marker. We are told that our leaders are approaching the 6 mile marker, and we may get a shot of them soon here on that Yamaha Racing live drone. And here comes the battle.
So how about it? B. Neal out in front. Hunter Hart still trying to keep pace in that 2 spot. And Hunter, that's a tough spot right there. Back there in the dust at this point, just kind of trying to hang on for dear life.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, folks, you know, when you watch this from this vantage point, even from the cameras, it really doesn't give you a perspective of how hard it is to see through that dust when you're down in it. It's like somebody just takes and puts a blindfold on you. So Hunter Hart sending it through the dust like that shows his level of commitment, level of want right now. He wants this win, and he wants it badly. They're working their way just a few more miles until we'll see them and Ricky Towery with the white flag waving, and only one more lap of action here at the Snowshoe GNCC.
Mercy sakes. We got a good one going on. We're going to take a commercial break, but first we're going to look at a few highlights of how we got to this point. How about it? Hunter Hart, a red hot start in this one. Looked like he was absolutely going to run away with it. Trying to, honestly, Johnny, I think trying to make a statement race of, hey, I'm still here. I can still compete at this level. Doing a great job so far. And then finally, the Bidwell Bullet found his way around and inched his way a little closer to Hunter Hart. And then we had that mano-a-mano battle between these two men out front.
Yeah, and the excitement coming into the pits, that's where it all went down. Both of these riders coming in, getting some fuel, getting some fresh vision, wiping the hands a little bit and getting ready to go for 2 more laps of battle. And as of right now, it was the quick work of that Phoenix Racing Yamaha team that got their rider, Bryson Neal, out of the pits just a smidge before. You can see it coming up here, just a fraction of a bike length. And actually almost looked like Hunter might have stalled the bike there. Looked like the crew was done, and then Hunter stalled the machine, and that was what allowed Bryson Neal to make the pass and gain the lead.
So once Bryson Neal got the physical lead out in front, how about this? Little back and forth. Hunter trying to fire right back, unable to make it stick. But Hunter Hart, the beneficiary of an adjusted time as well. Who is it going to be? The Bidwell Bullet, Hunter Hart for the first time this season. All that and more after a word from our sponsors. This is the Yamaha Racing Snowshoe GNCC.
Let's go racing. Full contact. Look at that lead. Down to the inside. Jet Lord still on top. Oh, the podium's here. I don't think any atmosphere can match it. Nothing quite like pro motocross.
We've been there since the very beginning.
20 laps, the main event, the blood, the beer.
Organizing the industry and building champions. "100 years of defending your rights to ride into the future."
Community, family, teamwork. It's what we have stood on for over a decade. Hauling might be what we do at the surface, but it's much deeper than that. Because what you need matters. When you need a haul, give us a call at 724-852-4488. For 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year, we at JD Enterprises are prepared to serve you.
It takes commitment, passion, and endurance to make something great. Made by champions, for champions.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized e-turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. Well, if you have been around GNCC very long, you are very well aware of the ISDE Golf Tournament. And this year, no exception. We had the ISDE Golf Tournament on a Friday morning and into the afternoon. And Johnny, you got to participate in this again this year. And boy, just, you know what, it's about honor and respect. And definitely no one cheated on their scores.
Oh, you're just going to go right there.
Diving right in.
So,
I mean, let's be
folks,
real.
I wish you could be in this booth off air. I'm just going to talk about the golf tournament for now.
Fair
We'll
enough.
move forward that.
Fair enough.
Great effort by Auntie Collinen and the entire Team USA AMA team.
Yeah.
Fundraising efforts. It is a very, very expensive and arduous undertaking to get all of these riders and support staff over to this year's Spain for the International 6 Days Enduro. And all of these people you're seeing on screen, gracious enough to buy their spots and get an opportunity to go out on a beautiful golf course here at the bottom of the mountain, the Raven. You can see a lot of the teams getting involved, a lot of the sponsors getting involved, and a lot of golf balls hit into the woods. No question about that. But honestly, some really good golfers made it out there, put in some good scores, and it was a pretty good battle amongst a lot of teams up top there, and from all accounts, the winning score was unbelievable, and that's the best way to put it. A lot of these guys you can see there, Bubs Tasho, I think they ended up being the winning team. There was some allegations from people that the question was asked, what was your score? After the fact, some scores were changed.
Interesting.
All I can say is the Scott A team and the Scott B team, we scored it legit. We scored 12 under and 11 under, respectively. And anybody else, if you beat us, good for you.
Good for you.
And whether you did it with a pencil or your actual golf prowess, either way, congratulations.
But bottom line is, like all the money, hey, going to help Team USA, help us out, get into ISCE. Like you said, Spain this year, that is no easy ticket.
No, absolutely.
So much, and it's not just about getting the riders there. Like there's a lot of moving parts to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did the big announcement in the village last night, just after this. This was our Stay Sick race. And, man, what an event this was last night. Our man, Griff Cotter, on the microphone, and those kids out there. Tell them that's not a real points-paying race. I dare you.
Right, yeah, no doubt. Send them through. Well, the people asked, and they got their wish. Howard's Hole for the AM race.
I'll tell you what, I think we need to turn it over to our man that just joined us back in the booth here, Zach Heron. I'll tell you what, I didn't make it down for the performance last night, but everyone said, hey, that Zach kid, he's got chops. So how about it, Zach?
I appreciate it. Man of many microphones is what I like to say. And lucky for you, Johnny, I'll be back up 9 o'clock tonight.
I will 100% be there. I'm actually a little miffed with you. I did not know you were performing last night. My apologies. I should have checked the
I could have gotten
schedule.
You backstage. Just saying.
I want to be in the crowd, man. I want to feel the vibe. But no joke. I'm not patting your ego. I had a number of people come up and say, hey, the new guy on Racer TV, he performed last night. He's good, man. It was really good. So if you weren't with us last night, weren't with them, like myself, make your way down to the village tonight. Keep it classy. Let's told
let's not throw fists.
Yeah, no major problems last night, but no major problems for these guys right here. Leaders coming through, but make your way to the village. Zach's going to put on a show. I think we got some other performance as well, but what a great performance last night.
I appreciate it. No, I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. It's always fun being able to share it with the GNCC Racing Nation. And I know you guys didn't see me, but I did make it. I made it down there. I made it on top of the scaffolding. I got to see Howard's Hole in real life. Again, I thought maybe it'd calm down just a little bit. I was wrong. I actually think it is even crazier than we saw last year. I think I saw flares getting shot off, flags being thrown everywhere, and several different riders getting pitched off of their ATVs. And I kid you not, before they had even picked themselves out of the mud, 6 to 7 to 14 mud fleas had already flipped that thing over. They had refreshments in hands. Some, different. We're not talking Dasani, I'll put it like that. Okay. But nonetheless, they got him back out. They got him rolling. And as a guy on crutches, I quote-unquote levitated courtesy of the mud fleas over a lot of it. They helped me get up on the scaffolding. But unfortunately, we just weren't able to get that stand-up working from down there. But nonetheless, I'm telling you what, we knew it was going to be a tough section. I don't know. Johnny, you've been through it before. I don't know, man. It seemed extra rough out there today. The boulders just seemed to be sticking out just a little bit more today.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty rough, but everybody making it through there pretty smoothly. I think when it's full of water and mud, those boulders that are so slippery, even more of a challenge. But I think the real challenge, like you pointed out, this year is just the sheer amount of spectators, mud fleas, people, debris, bouncy balls, adult beverages, you name it. Yes. It's all flying around down there. But what's flying around right now is the Bidwell Bullet out front, Hunter Hart in second, and that battle we were just watching on screen is actually shaping up to be near a wheel-to-wheel battle between Walker Fowler and Wyatt Wilkin. They're coming down the hill left of screen here right now. That is Walker Fowler on the 723 machine that we just went away from. These are some lapped riders. If we can get our drone operator to follow back there, that's a lapped rider. The battle is off screen to the bottom side here, and it is Walker Fowler in the number 3 spot, and Wyatt Wilkin chasing behind in the number 4 spot, wanting a piece of that podium.
Yeah, I could just barely hear you guys on the FM going back and forth. How about it? I'm glad to see Hunter Hart having some good luck. Sounded like I never even got a glimpse of the Gator. What happened there?
Actually, Jackson Burrell just got back. He spoke with Mark McGill. He said, and I quote, I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. Lost the visor, side of the helmet, pretty banged up. So obviously a pretty gnarly get off for the Gator. It's kind of set the tone for the rest of the day for him. But nonetheless, he's still out there charging. White flag out. Bryson Neal in. There was Hunter Hart. 1 and 2 checking in. If I wasn't mistaken, I think it was Hunter. Is he still out front on adjusted time? That is the question. Yes, he is. Hunter Hart in first place on the adjusted time. He wants that. Oh, is he in second?
No.
Oh,
He's
2
leading,
seconds.
2 seconds now.
Mercy, let's go.
What was a outright lead for Hunter Hart at the completion of lap number 1 became a corrected time lead of 6 seconds a lap ago. Bryson Neal now has it down to 2 seconds. Folks, if you're confused, what are you talking about? I just saw on screen Bryson Neal out front. Hunter Hart lined up on row number 2 because of the way this race starts. 5 riders on a row. Hunter Hart not in the top 5 in points, lines up on row number 2, gets that little advantage, if you will. But Hunter Hart, leaving no doubt on lap number 1, actually physically passed all 5 riders from row number 1. Grab that lead. Bryson Neal has been able to wrestle the physical lead back, but as of right now, the tail of the tape is 2 seconds that Hunter Hart has of a lead on corrected time. Just needs to stay as close as he is to Bryson Neal right now for one more lap of racing. And he could throw his hat in the ring for whose mountain this is.
Hey, who wants the snowboard? That's what it comes down to. Who wants that coveted snowboard?
Would it be Hunter Hill? Is that what he'd call it?
Oh,
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
I like
pretty
it.
good.
I like it.
Hart Mountain?
Yep, Hart
Hunter
Mountain.
Hill's got I like the Hunter Hill.
I like the HH.
Yeah, the HH. H squared. I like that.
But if Bryson is able to stretch it out, Bryson Hill, Bryson Mountain.
That's true.
Neal's not giving the mountain to anyone else. I don't know. I don't know.
It's just.
Bryson is a mountain of a man.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
They were seat leaders on screen. There was Bryson Neal already through, and now Hunter Hart looking like he lost a few more bike lengths. You know he may just be clinging to it at this point, giving it everything, wanting some help from some lap riders, wanting a smooth pass through Howard's Hole, and wanting to maintain that 2-second lead.
Yeah, leaders, good point. Hey, they'll be coming through Howard's Hole for the last time, and that is when the not-so-fun trek back for many of our mud fleas. I was actually telling the ladies at registration, I'm like, y'all might have the best view post-race as everybody, like zombies from The Walking Dead, as they're walking up that hill covered in mud, maybe stumbling a little bit, not because of any other reason than they're just exhausted, I'm sure. But
tired. That's a big
they're just tired. It's a big trek. But what a sight, man. This needs to end up the Barstool GNCC. Maybe El Presidente himself could post this on the big Barstool page. It just needs to be all over the internet.
And the crazy part is, look at how many people are down there. This is less than half.
Yeah, it's the exact same. If you were to 180 degrees turn this camera, it is just as packed behind as it is in front. And like I said, the crowd kind of controlling the line choice there. We had several guys almost getting a fight with one another because they were mad that the guy was pointing the riders at bad lines.
Point them this way.
Go that way, to the left, I said.
Everyone cares. That's what GNCC, they care. We're on your side. I love it. Crazy people.
They know they're on. You can see lower left corner. They know they're on camera. They're making sure they're putting on a show.
Good for them. I'm proud of them. Somewhere, that kid fell. I hope
Ride her down. Ride her down.
This is. Oh my goodness. All right. Nope. Thought it was.
We still got a little bit. You can see actually some riders, or some fans there, whipping the beads around on their fingers. They do that when the riders come through, and they do a really good job getting through Howard's Hole. They put beads around their neck to reward them. That is how you earn those beads. You can see beads flying above their heads everywhere. They get them big enough so that they go over top of the helmets. You don't want to slow the guys down. And that's a great. If you come up from Howard's Hole with beads, it's a good day.
Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day. I got mine.
Or if you go down with beads and you come back without any, it means you gave a lot of riders beads.
Also a good day.
Another rider missing a visor seems to be the kind of the theme of the day here. Adam McGill, as we speculate, Mark McGill saying, I have no idea, but when you have a bashed up helmet and a missing visor, one can assume that you took a little skid on your lid at some point. But glad to see Adam up and still charging in that number 8 place.
Got to hand it to Adam, though. Red hot start. It was very, very tight, like right out of the first turn there on the blacktop. But, yeah, you could tell just the way Adam was riding early in this one. He wanted a little – he can say what he wants. Hey, if I'm going to break down, Howard's Hole's a nice place for it. He wants to win here bad, and you could see it out there. He was throwing everything at this race today, so tough break for him. But, hey, still out there battling. Last time we saw him, I believe, still in the top 10.
And this year is going exponentially better than 2023, where he didn't even really make it a mile, I don't think. So, this year, still in the fight, coming through. See if he has now checked in with 3 laps complete, and it looks like he has. He has not yet. Yes, he just checked in. 3 laps complete, has dropped back to the number 10 spot now. So he's lost a couple more positions. He's been passed by Ronnie Rush and also Brandon Owens. He's about 10 seconds behind Brandon Owens, but clinging by the skin of his teeth to a top 10 there. Still, when you've had a crash like that, that pain can really start to build. Don't know exactly what he's going through, but still good to see him out there circulating. And given the fans that came up here to see Adam McGill fight for this mountain, right now may become Hart's Hill after this one if he's able to hang on to that 2-second lead. And we still don't have I think we should just call it Big Bryson's Mountain if Bryson wins this thing. But, again, those guys, Adam McGill, Walker Fowler, still, even no matter whether it be Bryson Neal or Hunter Hart winning up here today, those guys will still have them beaten in number of wins here on the mountain. They've won a lot over the years.
Going to be a good one, our last round of GNCC for a bit as we'll go on summer break. While we wait on these leaders to come through, don't forget we're going away from GNCC for a couple of months, but we'll be back down at Loretta Lynn's in Tennessee. Boy, before you know it, slotted for the end of July, I guess, this year into August. Johnny's going to be down there with us all week. We're going to put you through the ringer. It's very comfortable, though. It's a steady side with 300% humidity. It is just a dream.
It's consistent.
It is definitely consistent.
All there is to it.
There's that.
Whatever I have to do at Loretta's, I'm going to do from the creek.
That's fair. God, I wish we could do that. I say that. We've got an amazing tower, Mr. Eller, making possible for us, and it is very well air-conditioned. As long as Martin Davalos doesn't go and stay in front of the air conditioner.
Well, and it's clean thanks to Megawatt.
Calling him out right now. It's definitely clean thanks to Megawatt. There's no doubt. You got to take your shoes off when you go in there, Johnny.
No problem. If I get that hot and I need to come make a visit, I'll take my shoes off, take my socks off, whatever I need to do. I'll bring slippers.
Yes.
House slippers. We should be seeing, folks, a battle coming this way, and this is a battle for the lead, for the win here, 2024 Snowshoe. Not just physically like, oh, we see Bryson Neal ahead, he's winning. Maybe, maybe not. Time correction, the big story here today. Hunter Hart starting on row number 2. 7 seconds is the advantage he's given on corrected time because he started on row number 2. All he needs to do is cross the finish line within 7 seconds of the Bidwell Bullet. If you're Hunter Hart, do you want to get the lead back? Of course. Do you want to? Then that's a little insurance policy. But if you want to just do the minimum, you got to just cross the finish line within 7 seconds of Bryson Neal. And they don't pay extra bonuses. They don't pay extra points. Doesn't matter how you win it, just if you win it. And there is Bryson Neal leading the way, and that is Hunter Hart just behind him there. Definitely still within that 7 second window. Bryson Neal, though, you can see no time wasted, absolutely pushing, and there is Hunter Hart just a few bike lengths behind. What a battle these two are having, and we are starting to tick off the miles and get ever so closer to a checkered flag here in this one.
Boy, Hunter Hart doing what he needs to do to stay right there with the Bidwell Bullet. You heard Johnny Gallagher say it, 2 seconds is the gap when they checked in with 3 completed. Lot of track between here and the checkered flag, though. Anything can happen, but man, right now Hunter Hart in a really good position to maybe silence a lot of haters.
Well, and you talk about
go ahead.
Yeah, not even just haters, but we talk self-doubt, just not the results that he's been looking for. And so it is the final round going into summer break. What better way than to have this kind of momentum going into almost a 2-month break at least? Like I think it just says a lot about Hunter. He's got a lot of heart. No pun intended, all right? He's one of those guys where he knows what he's capable of doing, and, every time I've talked to him on or off microphone, he's tried to stay relatively positive, but you got to think it's starting to get more and more frustrating with each passing round. So even with a performance like this, if he does fall ever so short of the overall win, nonetheless, you got to take this as a solid run towards the right direction and some good momentum for Double H headed into the break.
Hey, they don't give out those wins easy. There's 3 different guys this year that have got them, and here we go.
there is 2 lapped riders now in between Bryson Neal out front and Hunter Hart in that number 2 spot. Hunter Hart really wanting these guys to get out of the way, and he definitely is still within that 7 seconds. But, man, it really has kind of been a bit of an accordion these last couple miles. It seems like it's close. Then it seems like Bryson's able to stretch it out a bit. But also a battle back there looming just off camera over that final podium position. Walker Fowler has it, but only 9 seconds back is Wyatt Wilkin. And those two absolutely throwing everything at it, both wanting to at least have the opportunity to stand on that podium, salute the Snowshoe fans, and leave here with those extra bonus points for being on the podium.
That's it. So 3 laps completed. What'll be a 4-lap race when it's all said and done. Leaders due in just under 20 minutes before we should get that checkered flag. Watching Hunter Hart and Bryson Neal.
That, to me, was 7 seconds on the money when I just did it visually using the clock on the top there. 7 seconds on the money. So you want to talk about how close this one is. It literally is wheel to wheel as they race with the time correction. Yes, there's 7 seconds between them, but that was the gap at the start. This one is really, really starting to heat up for what is going to be a battle of inches, a battle of milliseconds, of thousandths. And this is what this is going to come down to.
Johnny, we have, like, Snowshoe GNCC, obviously, as we're paying tribute to the Blackwater 100. You and I and Zach and Jackson, we have the advantage of sitting here watching them on screen, and we can watch the timing and scoring, so we can do that math. When you're the pro rider out there,
go fast.
Go fast, right? I mean, that's what I was going to say is you're not going to get a pit board that's going to say you're +2, -2. You got really no idea. You know, physically.
Yes and no. Like
you can kind of gauge it.
In this case, 1 row apart, they know that it's 5 to 7 seconds. They have a clock running, and that's how they input those times. So Bryson Neal knows that he has somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds to make up. He knows that. But in his position, you're just going all out. If you're Hunter Hart, until you're on the rear wheels of Bryson, it's not close enough. That said, it gets different when you start talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows different, because now you're 35, 40 seconds. You know, if you know, hey, I started 40 seconds behind this guy, and I can see him ahead of me, you're no longer doing math. You know you got him. But, again, that 1 row, it really is just like racing heads up. It's basically you want to be in front, or if you're Hunter Hart, if you're Bryson Neal, there's no gap that's big enough right now.
Nope.
Like, if you look back and you don't see Hunter, you're not going to back off because he could be just out of eyesight and still within that 7-second gap. If you're Hunter Hart, if you're right on Bryson's rear wheels, you know you've got it won. But right now, I got to tell you, Mikey, it looks like that gap is continuing to open up more and more. I think Bryson Neal has been able to pull the pin and shake Hunter Hart. We'll see as they come through here. Let's pick a spot. So that's Hunter Hart there. Bryson Neal 1 ahead. I think that may have been Bryson Neal. So here he is. Let's do this here. Bryson Neal on screen working his way up. And if this camera follows him all the way into the woods at 1:40.04. When Hunter Hart enters that woods line, that is the gap. 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds. It has gone completely lopsided. Hunter Hart was there, he had it, and now Bryson Neal has pushed it well out of reach. 4 seconds right now if they were to cross the finish line. Doesn't seem like a big gap, but it's trending that direction. If you're Hunter Hart, you got to stop it. You got to get closer. You got to get back to his rear wheels. You got to see him. You can't let him get out of sight. If you're Bryson Neal, you just want to keep doing what you're doing and keep opening up that gap.
Yeah, B. Neal just so methodical in this right here, and talking to him coming into today's race, like we said, all the attention was on Walker Fowler, on Adam McGill, all the wins, all of the fans here, and Bryson Neal, despite being a champion, having a bunch of wins under his belt, the man that won here last year felt like kind of almost the underdog. He said, that's okay, I like it. And here on the last lap, he is saving his best racing of the day for this last lap to put that gap on Hunter Hart back in the 2 spot. And Hart has just got to throw everything at it right now if he wants a first place. I got to believe that's what's in Hunter's head is I want first. Podium, awesome. Move in the right direction. I feel great. But if I can get the win, you want that win.
14 seconds at that camera shot. Bryson Neal has turned up the heat. Hunter Hart has absolutely no answer right now. He has stretched it from what was a 2-second advantage for Hunter Hart just 5 miles ago to right now what is a 7-second advantage for Bryson Neal.
And I have to feel that that is intentional from Bryson Neal. It's funny y'all mentioned that earlier. I actually stopped by Bryson's pit, and I said, what do you tell Bryson in this situation? What are y'all putting on the pit board? They said nothing. They said Bryson will know exactly what he needs to do. He's going to know what the gap is behind him better than we can tell him.
I love that. What we put on the pit board? DYJ, do your job. That's it. Just go do your job.
All right, 1 hour, 42 minutes into this one. They have passed the 5-mile marker. We wait and we watch for the 7:23 of Walker Fowler in that number 3 spot. The 6:21 of Wyatt Wilkin there in the number 4 spot, just 9 seconds back when they checked in. This is the battle headed your way for the final podium position here today. The battle out front seems to have gone the way of the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal, for at least right now, with a 7-second gap even after time correction. Bryson Neal starting to stretch it out. Hunter Hart clinging to it, fighting for it, still wanting a chance at this win. He will not give up on it. He's been fast on this west side of the mountain.
Yes.
That's where he made the pass on lap number 1. That's where he was able to really get back close to Bryson again on lap number 2. The question is, will he be able to do it again? Will he be able to get back to the rear wheels of Bryson Neal? Look at this. We have a new third-place rider, folks. It is Wyatt Wilkin on the 6:21 machine. He has taken over the third-place spot and opened up a gap. No Walker Fowler coming through here at the 5-mile marker. Now, we did have a camera pan there. Could have missed him on the way back, but I believe that was the next rider to come through, that lapped rider. So a big shake-up here for that final podium position, and we'll wait and see. With this much of a gap, I believe something has happened to Walker Fowler. This is not a gap that opens up without some type of a fairly significant issue. Let's not panic yet, folks. If you're a Walker Fowler fan or crew, we could have missed him in the camera pan, but there he is, question mark not. Yeah, that is him. Something looks amiss for Walker Fowler. He was not charging. He has given up a lot of time to Wyatt Wilkin. Wyatt Wilkin now looking all but assured of that final podium position. Something happened between the finish line where Walker Fowler had a 9-second lead over Wyatt Wilkin. Walker Fowler now probably upwards, pushing almost a minute behind Wyatt Wilkin.
There we go, shaking things up. Last lap, we've seen the close battle between Bryson Neal and Hunter Hart. Now Neal out in front, and he's got that gap. He needs to hang on for the win. Will Hunter Hart be able to close the gap and steal the win away? Will Wyatt Wilkin stay on the box? Can Walker Fowler return to the center or to the top 3 podium position? All coming down in just a few minutes. We'll take a short break, get a word from our sponsors, and be right back with more from the Yamaha Racing Snowshoe GNCC.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruise to sort you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Well, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
Every generation believes they've invented the best way. With age comes wisdom. We've come to realize that every piece of knowledge is learned, passed down from those generous and patient enough to teach.
Bogging off the bottom. Let's take a look.
Legacy. It's not about leaving something behind to be remembered by. It's realizing that the future lies within the next generation.
Let's call it a night. All right.
The nature of true progress is humbly building something bigger than yourself. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. This is our legacy.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Welcome back to GNCC Live. Mikey Wayne's here alongside Shawnee Gallagher. Zach Herron and Jackson Burrell making their way down to the finish line area to capture these post-race interviews that are going to be coming up. And, Johnny, the big question is, right now it looks like it's going to be Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart, and
Wyatt
Wilkin. But in what order by the time they come in? I think Wyatt Wilkin, he's kind of on the island by himself right now in that 3 spot. Obviously, got to hit his marks. No mess-ups because back there somewhere is lurking Walker Fowler. But, boy, the front 2, Neal turning it on this last lap. I think he's said, okay, now the win is within my reach. Let's put a burner on this last lap and make sure we seal the deal. But Hunter Hart, like we were saying earlier, maybe playing with a little house money. You got nothing to lose. Go full send. Go for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're Hunter Hart, obviously you for sure want to make it to the finish line because at this point he is all but assured a podium as long as he does make it to the finish line. Frankly, with the lead that he has over Wyatt Wilkin, could kind of phone it in and still get that number 2 spot. But, yeah, why not roll the dice? Go for it. Try to grab that win. We're talking about looks like Bryson Neal is now really taking a commanding lead. It's 7 seconds. I mean, it can change so quickly. Yes. The reason why we're making a big deal out of it is a significant difference from what we were looking at the last lap and a half of racing, where these guys really couldn't separate each other by more than just a few bike lengths. Suddenly, Bryson Neal turning up the wick and stretching what was just a few bike length lead out to 14 seconds physically, which is enough to maintain a 7-second gap on corrected time on Hunter Hart and wrestle away the lead that Hunter Hart has basically had since lap number 1, both either physically or on corrected time. We'll wait and we'll watch here from our Yamaha Racing live drone. We should see Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, popping. I think we may still have a few minutes until he's coming, but is it Bryson Neal? Is it Hunter Hart? Has there been carnage? Is Wyatt Wilkin going to win this thing? Right now, though, Wyatt Wilkin, something going on that east side of the mountain. Walker Fowler checking in about 1 minute and 8 seconds behind Bryson Neal, and then suddenly we fast forward 5 miles on that side of the mountain, and what was a 9-second gap over Wyatt Wilkin, suddenly, again, I did not have a time. I don't know if OPAG was able to go back and get a split back from Wyatt Wilkin to Walker Fowler, but my feeling tells me it was well over 30 seconds, more like approaching 45 seconds to a minute, so something went sideways there for Walker Fowler, and it did not look like Wyatt Wilkin had made up any time on Bryson Neal, so it looks like Wyatt kind of slotting into that number 3 place spot. You got to be there to get it. He's been there all day. He's been putting pressure on Fowler, and looking like he's able to wrestle it away for now. We'll see what it is when they pop out here in just a matter of a few moments.
Wyatt Wilkin, for those, I know GNCC, hey, almost that kind of one-off race for us. Maybe you got a lot of viewers that have not necessarily watched every race this year. You wanted to tune in for Snowshoe. Wyatt Wilkin might be a new name to you. If you're familiar with GNCC, no new name in these conversations for podiums this year. Rightfully so. Josh Merritt getting a lot of attention closing out those podiums, but Wilkin has been there. He's been that guy like on the bubble, just on the outside, with a couple, I believe at least one podium under his belt this year. Two. No, yes, it was 2.
Yep.
So Wyatt Wilkin.
No, I'm sorry, 3 podiums.
Is it 3?
3 podiums, because he podiumed in Georgia. He podiumed again at the Hoosier, and then he podiumed at Powerline Park. So 3 podiums for Wyatt Wilkin so far in the first 8 races of 2024. That's right on teetering on the edge of a podium regular, folks.
Yes.
So this guy, no fluke, working very, very hard. A sophomore in that XC1 Pro class. Do not believe that is not Bryson Neal. That guy came out of the woods.
He was looking good going into the corner.
Quick little rundown, Mikey. Looking back through the top 20 overall, look at this. We've got a battle on our hands for that XC2 Pro-Am class. Alex Tiemann leading the way But just behind him, it is Braxton Gross, the 223 out of Ramona, California, in that number 2 spot, 13.4 seconds back. Mikey, what are you seeing on screen?
Well, I believe it is B. Neal. Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was the moose gear or not. But, yes, Bryson Neal leading it out in front. And, Johnny, that is the gap I think he needs to make sure he seals the deal here for the XC1 or the overall win.
We'll probably follow him until the woods line, and then at that point we'll try to see if we can get a clock on Hunter Hart. Looking like 152.40 as he enters the woods there. Drone going to follow him along, but hopefully we can look back and see Hunter as well so we can see what that gap is. Bryson now coming up through. We'll reset the clock. We're not going to catch Hunter coming into the woods there. Coming out onto crossing the road, heading up towards the GBC Tires pit stop area. No stops this lap. We do not anticipate. No reason for it. He's got enough fuel. He's literally just has less than a mile of racetrack until he crosses the checkered flag. Ricky Towery already having that checkered flag in hand, ready to wave it for Bryson Neal. And we'll see what the gap is as he navigates that tight little 180. 153.16 was the time around that corner, meaning at 24, which is right now, he has won the race.
Yep.
So he now has at least an 8-second gap, and it just continues to grow. 153.16. We're now at 16 seconds. Hunter Hart still not even out of the woods. So he has a good, sizable, considerable. Here comes Hunter Hart. So 153.16. We're at about a 30-second gap for Bryson Neal right now. So this one, barring some major setback for Bryson here in the upcoming 3/4 mile of racetrack or so, he has it in hand. He's done more than enough.
Absolutely. Well, Bryson Neal trying to click off another win here. Would be win number 7. 5, 6, 7. Win number 7 for Bryson Neal through 9 rounds of racing. Going to put him in a very, very good position as far as that championship is concerned. Hunter Hart, still I'm not a person that's about moral victories, air quotes, but Hunter needed this race today to be able to lead for a significant portion of the race and, knock on wood, hang on for a second place finish as far as the overall. If you're Hunter Hart, I think you got to be absolutely stoked on today.
Absolutely. I mean, from where he's been coming from the last basically 6 rounds, no podiums, not really even in the mix or the fight for those podiums. Suddenly today comes out, and this is the Hunter Hart we expected to frankly see starting in February. We expected to see this guy battling for wins. We expected to see him on the podium consistently. We expected to be him to be a championship contender, and today he has been absolutely all of those things.
I'm kind of like a closeted, low-key nerd, okay? I love the Avengers movie. There's a scene where Thor, he feels like he's not worthy, and he throws his hand out, and then here comes Thor's hammer, and he says, I'm still worthy. Hey, Hunter Hart, brother, you're still worthy. You still got it, man. It's still a lot left in the tank. And, again, like I said, moving in the right direction for him. Wyatt Wilkin in the 3 spot, talk about that as this one's nearing an end. I asked him, I was like, man, obviously you're the young guy in the XC1 class. You've had all this early success. I said, eventually, from your perspective, Wyatt Wilkins, I said, these old guys are going to retire someday, right? So you are kind of the next in line to be battling with guys like Hunter. Do you feel like maybe a Snowshoe could become your place as active XC1 pros? And he's like, absolutely. He said, you know what's interesting? A lot of people bring that up to me. But right now it is all about Bryson Neal out in front, ready to bring it home. Here he comes. Take us home, Johnny.
You want to talk about whether or not Bryson Neal wants to win this championship and wants to win this race. How do you know enough is enough? Everything you got. All of it. That's exactly what Bryson Neal did that last lap of racing and opened up a, quite frankly, massive gap over Hunter Hart. In terms of what this race was, it was wheel to wheel, and suddenly Bryson Neal said, hey guys, I'm out, I'm going, I'm checking in, I'm clocking in, I'm locking in, and I'm getting it done. And he did just exactly that. Bryson Neal with a big win here on top of Snowshoe Mountain. Folks, we don't need the time, we don't need the corrections. He did enough, he got the job done. We're waiting and watching to see when Hunter Hart checks in, exactly what the final margin of victory is. But it will be that man right there, Bryson Neal, the number 1, the Bidwell Bullet, taking his 2nd consecutive win here atop Snowshoe Mountain.
Big congratulations to the Bidwell Bullet. Bryson Neal grabbing another win here in 2024. And back-to-back Snowshoe wins for the Bidwell Bullet as here comes Hunter Hart. in that number 2 spot. Boy, a man that needed a podium right there as he receives the checkered flag from Ricky Towery, and got to be elated. How close was it?
It wasn't.
Okay.
56 seconds was the margin of victory, meaning that 49 seconds Bryson Neal was able to pull out on that lap. But honestly, at this point, who cares? Did Hunter Hart want the win? Of course. He did so well for 3 laps there. That last lap, Bryson Neal just really pouring the coal to it and getting it done. But if you're Hunter Hart, put a smile on that face, young man. Welcome back to the GNCC podium. Hunter Hart, he's back, baby. It's Snowshoe, and he's going to be celebrating with the rest of the boys on the podium back on the box.
Yeah, congratulations to him hanging on there and doing a little bench race and post-race. Maybe a gnarly little get-off for Hunter Hart. He's talking about it with the Bidwell Bullet. Bryson Neal, who captured that 2 spot. Now we reset 621. Wyatt Wilkin is who we expect to check in that number 2 spot. Griff Cotter down there to congratulate the fellas.
We're waiting, we're watching for the 621 of Wyatt Wilkin. Has not checked in just yet, but we do believe he will be our number 3 rider for the day, rounding out that final podium position spot. 1 minute 8 seconds behind is what he was. Sorry, that was actually Walker Fowler at the completion of lap number 3, and Wyatt Wilkin was another 9 seconds back, so about 1:20. That gap has definitely opened up. We're waiting, we're watching. That is not Wyatt Wilkin there, but that sure enough is. You can see the luscious locks flowing in the background. Folks, chalk it up. 4 podiums in 9 rounds for this man. The 621, Wyatt Wilkin coming across the line and grabbing the final podium position here atop Snowshoe Mountain. And Mikey Waynes, I believe this man made some promises that it was going to go down tonight. There was going to be a celebration if he was on the box. We'll see if he's a man of his word and he gets it done in the village, but he got it done on the track here today. Final podium position, 1 minute 34 seconds behind Hunter Hart. None of that matters. He's on the box. There is your 3rd place rider. Look at him. You could tell that is one happy guy. Hard not to just love this guy. He's what GNCC is about. Came out of nowhere a few years ago. Was just kind of a so-so rider in XC2. Suddenly started putting together podiums and wins. He's been working hard. We just saw his trainer, Levi Cohen, congratulating there. I know he's got a lot of help from that big, powerful Action Off-Road team. Those guys believe in him. They're helping him out. Matt Pierce, Pierce Performance, all the people behind him. Look at that. This is a grassroots GNCC racer who's been around a long time, but he's really starting to make some waves.
He is. Him and Josh Merritt both stand out to me as guys that you hear.
They have some good races, and suddenly, like you pointed out, they're listening to the people around them that really, truly just do want to see them succeed, not for them, not for anyone else. And it's phenomenal to see what happens when, I'll say it, and I've said it, and I'll say it again, when you get out of your own way, you can do amazing things.
Sure.
Wyatt Wilkin, Josh Merritt, absolutely examples of that here and now.
And it sounds like one of our fellas, Zach Heron, standing by with Bryson Neal.
Guys, I'm down here. I'm getting rehab advice from B. Neal. He's that calm, cool, and collected. After 2 hours of battle, man, once again, you find yourself on the top step. It was just as much a race against the stopwatch this time as the competition. Take us through it.
Yeah, man. This track today was just one of the best snowshoe tracks I've ever had, ever ridden. Usually we got mud and slop coming into the weekend. It usually rains on us throughout the weekend, but no rain this weekend, and the woods were just absolutely perfect. I mean, great hero dirt, the rocks, the trails. I mean, you could just go almost wherever you want. It was fun. It was really fun. The dust and the ski slopes, that made it really, really tough. I think we was 3rd going into the woods. Adam, Walker, then I. We got to the west side of the mountain, and Walker got by Adam, and then Adam, his rear left tire tagged a stump, and it kicked him sideways, and it cartwheeled him. He kind of took a tumble, and Hunter, when I was stopping and I was trying to check on Adam and yell at him, ask if he's okay, Hunter went around to the left side, and then he got Walker, and then dude, he put the jets on that 2nd lap, and he had a really good pace going, especially when he got that dust and that ski slope. But thank you, girl. But dude, he's just like a locomotive train. This 20th edition YFZ 450R, this thing just kept purring all day, just kept getting better and stronger. The last lap, man, I was really feeling my oats. My dad got me in and out of the pits, got me the pass for the lead. And that last lap, man, I laid it down. It felt great. CST tires, Moose Racing gear was phenomenal. phenomenal today. CST tires, tire balls, DWT wheels with shocks, Moose Racing Gear, Parts Unlimited, Dasa Racing, Phoenix Yamaha, everything. I appreciate you guys. This was awesome. I'm pumped to get 2 in a row.
Hey, absolutely, man. We talk about obviously the different starting setup. You and Hunter, it was a race against the clock. He was right inside that 7-second gap, and then it was like you just clicked another gear, man. What were you telling yourself going in that last lap? You had to get the gap opened up.
You know, the only thing I was banking on was the dust. You know, because once we got into the rocks, if you was on somebody or somebody was on you, they could kind of just watch what you was doing and just kind of just correct. You know, go a little bit to the left, square up this rock, hit this a little bit better. So I was just trying to get out of sight from him. Luckily, we caught 2 or 3 lappers right here as soon as we hit, and I didn't yell at him. I didn't rev my bike. I just kind of snuck up on him and just blitzed by him in the dust. And I think I really surprised him. And then I'm just hoping that was what really helped me get the gap. And then once I got the gap going out of Howard's Hole and up the ski slope, man, I just tried to be smooth, keep hitting it hard. My guys did a great job getting me through Howard's Hole all day, and my friend Justin Fallon, Troy Edelblue, Tyler Ward, Mikael Robinson, Nathan from Jackson, cousin from up the creek, you know, and I'd like to thank Wayne, David Eller, everyone out there in the woods today giving me pit boards, laps, and helps, all the fans. It was awesome. I appreciate you guys.
Now, we've heard Walker Mountain, we've heard McGill Mountain. What are we calling this one?
Well, it's Neil Mountain this year for sure, because we got back-to-back. We got on the scoreboard last year for the first time. We went back-to-back this year, so I think we can start to get in on the poop talking here next weekend or next year for Snowshoe. I think it's time we can coin this Neil Mountain.
There it is, guys. Neil Mountain in 2024. Bryson Neal getting the job done.
Jumping ahead, big shake-up behind him. Walker Fowler did not hold on to that number 4 spot. We noted that it looked like something was wrong. He was not riding at full steam, dropping 2 more spots. Shout out to Stephen Harrell, 4th place on the day in the number 4 spot, and 0.008 seconds behind him, Jared McClure in the number 5 spot. Walker Fowler coming across in 6th.
Jackson Burrell standing by with our 2nd place finisher. Welcome back to the podium, the mustache, Mr. Hunter Hart.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here with Hunter Hart. Hunter, a great ride here today, 2nd place on the day. Take us through your day.
Yeah, you know, through the startup, that was all on me, you know. Luckily, I was able to get to the lead of the 2nd row real quick, caught these guys, and basically I just decided that first lap that we were going for broke, and it worked out. You know, I got to the physical lead right about 10-mile marker, and I knew we just had to go. Led 3 of the 4 laps, you know, that's on adjusted time, you know, that's the most I've ever led in a GNCC, and hey, you know, massive improvements, you know. After the last race, you know, getting past on the last lap, I left a pretty sour taste in my mouth, and I decided that today we weren't going to take any shit from anyone, and that's where we're. And yeah, you know, we proved that we know how to go fast, and especially going into summer break, you know, this is what we want to do. It's not the win I was after, but you know what, it feels like a win from where we've been these last 8 rounds. Fitness was good, you know. Bryce and I were gone, you know, we were wheel to wheel, and the dust was gnarly, you know. I mean, him and I were literally 5th gear wide open through some sections, just, I mean, mano y mano, and it was sick, you know. Massive shout out to all the fans, you know. You guys stayed out of track this year, which was huge, you know, and just pointing the lines, like, it was awesome, you know. It was a lot of fun today, you know, most fun I've had on an ATV in a long time. I've been searching all season, you know. We did some massive changes on the bike last 2 weeks, and it's the right direction. You know, if I had to describe today in one word, it'd be relief.
No doubt about it. Well, congratulations on the 2nd place. I know you mentioned the summer. Going into summer break, any big plans?
Dude, we're gonna build from here. You know, this is the best thing that could have happened to me today. You know, no, a lot of people tell me to be a little easier on myself. You know, but if I'm that hard on me, nobody else can be harder on me. And yeah, you know, we'll be a little easier on ourselves, but we're not gonna take much time off. You know, I need about 10% more on that last lap, and we would have been there. You know, Bryce was able to turn those afterburners on at about the 5.5, and we were tapped. You know, I need just a smidge more. But I think we came here to do what we wanted to do today, and you know, this is the happiest I've been at a GNCC in a long time. You know, yeah, I just I'm happy with myself. You know, that's the biggest thing is I'll be able to sleep a little easier at night now. Yeah, you know, it's I'm much happier than I was last year here, and that's all we can ask for is to do better than we did last year. And yeah, I'm just got to give the glory to God. You know, letting me go through the struggles to know how good it actually is to be here and be in the battle. Massive shout out to the track crew. You guys did a phenomenal job on this one, and just the whole GNCC Nation. Thank you guys for sticking in there.
All right, guys, that's your second place. Hunter Hart, he's back on the podium.
Mike, you know, that was a great day for Hunter Hart.
You know what I appreciate about Hunter is, like, the resilience, right? I mean, in all seriousness, yeah, things haven't gone his way. Like he said, changed some things up. He's done a lot of soul searching. You know, he's moving in the right direction.
You know, a podium is a good day for anybody, but a second-place ride battling for the win through so much of that one, you know, you can't really say much else besides great day for Hunter Hart. Good to see him back up on the box there. And you know he's going to come back after the break just ready to fight for it.
Absolutely. Sounds like our third-place ride. Wyatt Wilkin ready. Down with Jackson Burrell.
Yeah, guys, I'm over here with Mr. Podium himself, Wyatt Wilkin. Another podium for you here. Third place on the day, man. How do you feel?
Oh, man, I'm ecstatic. Just starting on the front row had me a little bit of emotional, something I want to do my whole life. And I think it got a hold of me in the first lap, and I just wasn't feeling myself. Second lap, I kind of got in my groove, started feeling good, caught up to Walker on the third lap in the Howard's Hole, and we were flying down these fire roads, and I had a really, really nasty wreck last year, the week before this race, and on a ski lift just like this, and scares me, man. When I'm flying down them fire roads, I'm worried that I'm going to do it again, and I was taking it easy down them fire roads, and Walker come flying by me, and I realized that I needed to nut up a little bit and go a little faster, and end up catching back up to Walker on the fourth lap, and the same section, I think it bit him. It was real dusty, and I came up on him, and he didn't look real comfortable on the bike. He was going about as slow as I usually would going down that thing, and I stopped, and I gave him a thumbs up, and he just kind of nodded his head down, so I knew something wasn't right with him, and I was like, dude, I got to run. Like, I didn't want Walker Fowler. This is his mountain, McGill's mountain. It's Bryson's mountain right now, but I didn't want to be behind him or have him behind me on the last lap, so I was running, brought it home for a third. I'm freaking happy.
Why, going into summer break, how do you feel? What's your plans?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. Like, these boys better buckle down the last 4 rounds. I'm hungry. I'm feeling good. Need to keep riding, and this ain't summer break. This is grind time.
Well, you said just before the race in the Monster Energy pre-race report, you would be in the village if you got up on the podium. Will we see you there?
There's going to be a party tonight.
All right, boys, you heard it. That's your third place, Wyatt Wilkin.
All right, well, we just heard from Wyatt Wilkin. The man is stoked. He's ready to party tonight. I love it. We're not going into summer break. It's time to grind. Your top 10, Bryson Neal taking the win. Hunter Hart finishing in the number 2 spot, and Wyatt Wilkin rounding out the box. Johnny, we heard you mention that speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Top 5 for Jared McClure. A good run for him here today at Top Snowshoe Mountain. Walker Fowler rounding out the, or not rounding out, ending up there in the number 6 spot. A big fallback, sounding like from Wyatt Wilkin, maybe a crash, getting the better of Walker Fowler. We'll check in with him and get an update on that. Rounding out the top 10 then, John Glaude Jr. in 7th. Ronnie Rush, a solid ride there in the number 8 spot. Brandon Owens in 9th, and Austin Abney rounding out the top 10. Also, quick shout out, our XC2 have checked in. Braxton Gross getting around Alex Tiemann, grabbing the win. 12 seconds the margin of victory in that XC2 class. When I looked, our third place rider had not checked in yet, but that is the top 2 in that XC2 Pro-Am class.
Our 100 starting on the road. A little slippery through turn number 1. Wyatt Wilkin kind of kissing the straw bale right there, and off and rolling. Boy, great shot by our drone operator. These starts so unique. Johnny, what goes through your head during these starts at Snowshoe? Is it just, hey, get in front of the guys you're on the same row with? Is it like, let's link up, let's catch those guys in row number 1? What's the perspective on that?
For me, it was always get off the pavement without getting upside down. Once you're onto the mountain, slope, pin it, and make up time. Get to those rows in front of you. I started, earliest I ever started was row 2. Never started on row 1. So you just got to push. You know you got those time corrections. You just keep pushing. But the man pushing early was Adam McGill. McGill Mountain coming into today. Question is it now Bryson Neal's mountain? Hard to argue against that. 2 wins in a row for Bryson Neal, but Adam McGill leading the way early, coming through Howard's Hole, and that was to the delight of the fans.
Very much. Yeah, so Adam McGill had a great race going. We never quite got the details on it. Unfortunately for McGill, had a very obvious, gnarly get-off. And then that was when Hunter Hart took the reins of the race, and Hunter Hart putting a pretty good gap on the rest of the pack early. He even spoke about it in the post-race interview. That's, I think, the longest he led a race, certainly here. And then here comes the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal, charging to the front and challenging Hunter Hart. He would stay behind Hart right on that rear wheel, or the rear grab bar, until they got into the pro pits, and we'll be able to see that here in just a moment. But again, great ride by Hunter Hart today.
Yeah, Hunter Hart was just there all day, just kept pushing. Every time Bryson Neal would come up and put pressure on him, Hunter had an answer right up until here.
Yes.
Bryson Neal coming in with a very quick pit stop, looking like Hunter Hart may possibly have stalled the machine as he was pulling out. You can see the crew has the goggles on. They have the fuel in. The can is pulled, and Hunter goes and stops.
Yeah.
Not sure what the stop was. Did he stall the machine? Were they still working on something? But either way, Bryson Neal powers around the outside, takes the lead, and again, even though Hunter Hart was behind him there on corrected time, still had the victory, this was the physical pass for the lead that got the job done.
So able to make that physical pass, and then right here was where we had the abacus out. We're doing math, trying to figure out if Hunter Hart could stay on the rear grab bar of Bryson Neal. He could still hang on to the win. But Neal, I got to hand it to him. White flag came out, and that's really when Bryson Neal went to work. Started gapping Hunter Hart out in front to guarantee himself the center of the box position.
Yeah, absolutely. It seemed like Bryson was pushing, but Hunter had an answer for it for about a lap and a half. Even though Bryson had the point position, Hunter would just not quite let him get away more than a few bike lengths. Then, like you pointed out, the white flag waved. Bryson Neal just said, okay, now's the time to go. I want to get the win. I want to extend my points lead. I want to make this Bryson's mountain. And on the last lap, he put in the work, he put in the push, and he was able to open up a 56-second gap in the final lap of racing. You can see the emotion as he crossed the finish line, getting the job done.
And I love the post-race interview by Bryson Neal. He said, I want involved in the conversation. I want to be in the poop talk. I think he meant smack talk, or maybe the other word. I don't know. We could say it probably. We're on YouTube, but it is what it is. Today was crazy enough. Johnny, big takeaways from today's race.
Man, I really think it's the assertion of dominance by Bryson Neal. I mean, he didn't need to win this race today, but he went out, made sure he got it done, took the chances even on the last lap to really open up that gap that he needed to over Hunter Hart. So that's the big takeaway for me up front. Hunter Hart, welcome back to the podium.
That's it.
Obviously a big day for him. And then I think an off day for Josh Merritt and a big day for Wyatt Wilkin. Really starting to tighten up that battle for the number 2 spot. I did some quick math off air. What was a 34-point gap coming into today, with Walker Fowler finishing second, 51 points Bryson Neal now has. So a very, very comfortable lead heading into the summer break with only 4 rounds remaining.
Love that. Love Wyatt Wilkin. I love the determination by him. He said, what are you doing? Jackson Burrell asked him, what are you doing during the summer break? He said, I'm going right back to the grind. Nose to the grindstone. And he even sent out a message, XC1 guys, you better be ready. I'm coming out swinging when we come back from summer break. So that's going to wrap things up for us. We will take a break from the world of GNCC on Racer TV. But don't forget, we've got plenty of racing action, all racing, all the time. We'll be heading down to Loretta Lynn's at the very end of July and into August, where we'll be broadcasting that every day. So slide into the comments section. Continue to ask us, when is Deegan racing? I get it. He's not, but it is what it is. On behalf of Jackson Burrell, Zach Herron, Johnny Gallagher, our camera operators, JC, Matt, Josh, Mike, Leah, Kirsten, Cameron, and Jack, our drone pilot, Gabe Scholl, as well as our manager, Dan Reinhardt, our engineer in charge, Jordan McFadden, our director, Don Hampton, producer, Adam Gordon, our producer, Adam Gordon, and our executive producer, Carrie Jo Russell. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.